I do not know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
No, that was content.
Yeah.
That was content.
Yeah, here we go.
Because I am the content queen.
Alright, Joe. Alright,
Stop
Joe.
it.
Joe Buttons. This is the worst album ever.
I ain't gonna say that though. It ain't the worst album
No, Silk
ever.
the Shocker. It's like Silk the Shocker. The Magoo album.
Who is this? Like, what is she? Cause I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, I heard this flow before, but I don't know.
Mixtape party.
That's
No,
what it
no, no,
sound
I'm
like.
saying, but it
This
sound
whole
like
album sound like
it sound like something else. Like she trying to flow like a particular song. Like she referencing something.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'll say this. I guess this would be a good starting point. Khaled dropped, and my thoughts about Khaled, I don't
think about it.
No, I mean, I'm gonna give it a few more days to settle in on me, just because, like, you know, I don't want to rush to an assertion. Now, I will say this: I wonder if it was more difficult for him to make this project than his other projects. Yes, because I think that Khaled is somebody who feeds off energy of being around people.
Yeah,
as a visionary, that's how he operates. So doing shit via FaceTime, you know, and Zoom can be a little different because now you can't really feel nobody energy like that.
That's real.
Yeah, I've heard that he is he puts the Energizer bunny. He puts that battery in people back in the studio.
That makes sense.
I was
motivated.
Yeah, what was it? Ace Hood had a Drink Champs, and he was talking about how Khaled gave him a whole speech. Him and Future sitting in the before they made woke up in that new Bugatti.
Yeah.
Like he was talking about how Khaled gave them a whole like 10-20 minute speech before he played the beat. And like Ace was talking about how, like, to what you saying, that like he had goosebumps, like like the hair on his arms was standing up, and then he pressed play. So
I see that. I can see that.
And he said when Hood said that after that Future jumped up, he let the beat play a couple times, and then Future just walked in, said press record. And then after about the third take, I come looking for you, hey, because he was in the room with Ace Hood, who all his homies is Haitians. They smoking on good Jamaican. They hanging out in Miami with people riding around in Bugattis.
He was giving it to
He was just telling you what the fuck was going on. So to your point, thanks to a Drinks Champ episode, I could see how Khaled, without him being able to put that Energizer bunny in people back, with him just sending the email and you just get the beat and you open it when you want to.
Yeah,
that's
him hitting you with the follow up text like, "Hey,
then he hit
can I get them vocals back?"
That's a whole. I don't like, and that's one thing I don't like about the modern making music with people. It is a lot of sending emails, and a lot of times when you in the studio, like you could feel somebody's body language because you could
see their body language. You be like, "Hey man, you don't
like,
really like this."
Here's what I got. And then like nigga look at you, or like that first two bars, the nigga face look like he got like to shit.
And it's like,
okay, we good.
We going good.
We good. Like you got to bounce off of people.
But then you look over there and you see everybody just looking around.
Yeah.
Right, I might need to rework this. So.
Yeah, and I think also the artists though are not in shape as well. Yeah. Because even though people do a lot of email and verses nowadays, just being in a city like Atlanta, just being in the LA, where all the studios are, if you like actually in the game, you could if you in town, you could just pop around from studio session to studio session, and you constantly hearing people shit, and you constantly sparring. Cause the nigga might say, "Oh, wait, are you in town? Oh yeah, we up in North Hollywood. Pull up on us." And they
doing some like surveillance.
And they gonna play you they shit, and you gonna hear they new shit, and you gonna realize your shit trash.
How you need to tone up.
Yeah, you be like,
so this is what niggas. You know what this kind of sound, especially you hear a batch of folks. It's like, so this is how people coming for the song.
Oh, okay. All right, let me tighten up. People ain't had
everybody
that.
Getting a feature. Everybody got a feature from such and such. I need me a feature from such.
Yeah.
You know what? I think which brings me to the point that you saw the Rolling Loud lineup, right?
No, I haven't.
Like, it looks ridiculous. It's like 40, 50 artists, right?
Right.
Hip-hop artists in Miami in, I want to say July, at the top of July.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is all of those artists who are there I think for the most part, you're gonna be able to see some people and pick up some of that, oh shit, what's going on?
I ain't seen you in a minute.
Hold on, I see what people doing. Wait a minute, I see people reacting to this.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. And then like September might roll around. We might start hearing some different types of things.
Because nobody know. Everybody's been in the bubble. Mm-hmm. So 9 times out of 10, music takes place. It has a context. Yeah. People have been making music with it's just simply a personal context as a late. Because that's all you got is personal. So we're about to go from like a personal context to a more collective. So, because nobody knows. What's the club scene right now?
I don't know. I mean, outside of the cities that are there, even those are different. Because you can't, even in spaces and places that have basically been acting like 2019 or prior, still are different. Because it's still these little things that, either by way of some type of legal ordinance or motherfucker call the folks on them, some type of shit like that. It might be certain places and spaces where they allowing this to happen here in this venue, but this other venue folks kind of, staying in line. So it's still kind of different.
And if you look at the major northern cities, New York, Chicago, and LA been shut down. Mm-hmm. So when West for LA, but when it opens back up, what's the hottest club in New York? What's the hottest club in LA? It might have been this in 2019. It might have been X, or or One Oak, or whatever. It used to be Greystone, whatever the fuck. What is it in September, like you saying, September 2021? Yeah. What's the hottest club in LA? Who the fuck knows? What's the hottest club in New York? Who the fuck?
I mean, it's probably secret shit.
When Chicago opens when it's completely back open. What's the hottest club in Chicago
there's niggas who are going to Nipsey's on 91st and Stony, dog.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that, and I'm like, yo, I'm not. Look, I love y'all. I love my black people. But
I'll go fuck with
Nipsey should have been a pop-up, because essentially it is.
It's like a 90s thing?
Yes, it's Martin. You remember how they used to go to Nipsey's?
Oh, man, that ain't what it's about.
But it's like that. That's what it.
Man, fuck that. I'm supporting Gilmore.
No, I'm saying
because here's why.
They had what, Drink House or something like that.
Yeah, that's what you got to realize. Gilmore got ran out of downtown.
Yeah, because
strictly
folks
due to racism. No, it wasn't. It wasn't due to folks fighting. You know what folks fight at all the time? Lincoln Park
and River North and shit.
You know what people fight at all the time? Wrigleyville.
Yeah, they definitely.
You want to see some fights?
Wrigleyville.
Yeah.
Yo, you go
fresh
there.
Out the Cubs game.
You know what it was?
Boy, when the Cubs opened to 75% compared, I ain't even talking about 100%. When they opened to 75%.
You want to see people with public intoxication pissing everywhere? Wrigley fucking Ville. Yeah. You want to see people getting drunk and fighting? St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, my God.
So that ain't why they ran Gilmore out. They ran Gilmore out because they was jealous because of how melanated that man's skin was and how he was operating on a higher vibration. So I'm not gonna say anything about Nipsey's other than I hope it's successful. But even if that winds up, like right now, they just had Pooh Shiesty and them out at the strip clubs in the south suburbs. Yeah. When the city opens up,
where they gonna go?
Wicker Park is dead. Could we agree on that?
Yes, Wicker Park is done. I think COVID officially.
Wicker Park cooked
because all them places was too off of the how can I say. They was off of the Instagram-y, like, hype type of... They was really feeding off of hype.
Keep in mind, a lot of people who... Because let's talk about just the college kids who, navigating the city or who operate here. A lot of folks went back home.
Like a motherfucker.
During COVID, right? So they went back home, and then when people come back, now they like, okay, I don't want to be in spaces where we packed on top of each other like that no more.
And rent stupid high. Yeah. And a lot of the people, that neighborhood was made by... for lack of a better word, Southsiders. Because Wicker Park got invaded by the Southside hip-hop community and the fashion community. So what made that area cool was the people. And once Wicker heated up, people tried to stay over there and go to Humboldt for a little bit. But after a while, essentially all the cool Southsiders and even the Westsiders went back home. Yeah. So essentially, you just left with the second wave of gentrifiers. Yes. So my point is, Wicker cooked. All right. They ran Gilmore out of downtown.
But that was like Greek time.
Pilsen never officially
did anything.
Well, I'll say this about Pilsen.
It kind of plateaued.
Nah, I ain't gonna say it plateaued because Pilsen, I used to go to Twisted Cantina a lot, and I used to see some of the stuff that just happened around there. And I'm talking about as far as even the Latino culture. It's still heavily prevalent. Oh there.
But I'm talking.
So it's gonna stay heavily.
Oh no, that's not what I mean. What I mean by plateau, it was supposed to be the new Wicker Park.
Well,
it was supposed to be Wicker South.
I do think that there's a concert venue that was just built. That was built over there like right before COVID started.
Yeah.
And it's going to open up on the opposite side of COVID. So they have a new concert venue coming.
Yeah. It coming.
I know, but I'm saying, like, when we think about, like, okay, what is the Metro then? What is this then? What is that then? Because I'm talking about these places that have that capacity of that 1,000 to 5,000 person capacity, you know? Cap. Yeah, so if you have it over there, and it's better parking, you know?
Yeah, it's way better in terms of.
But all we just proved is my point.
Yeah.
Where's the? Because it ain't no popping neighborhood.
What's the point to go downtown? What is the reason to go downtown? Like even Persona, right? And I love Persona. Like they having to build out that patio and stuff now to really get people comfortable going back in there.
Yeah,
it's almost like, what will the club scene?
What's
really
it going to look like?
Hasn't the black nightlife scene in Chicago always been like a target? Like it's always been like. I always hear when I first moved here. That was the thing
E2.
When I first moved here, that was the thing that I kept hearing people say.
Yeah, E2.
Every club that was the thing that everybody was going to,
it's gone.
They would always talk about ones that was like this prior to that are now not there. Yeah. And then that one closed, and they was like, "Yeah, we all on this now." Then that one closed, and it was just felt like a
you remember
cycle.
E2. E2 was one of the worst situations that happened in nightlife.
Well, E2 it was a destined to happen because anybody who ever walked up them damn stairs knew that them stairs was sketchy. But when that like Chicago, like how long have you been here?
Since 2015.
You've never seen Chicago club scene.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that just based off of
you've never seen it.
Based off what people spoke to it about.
All right, my first foray, I was 20 years old. I worked the door, and I'm just funny. I was 20.
The fuck you was working the door for?
Shut up.
Checking niggas' IDs. You're 21. Hold on, let me.
21,
this feel like paper, bro. What's this?
What's this?
You ain't never even had a 21-year-old ID.
I got a blue ID. I got a wrong color ID, checking IDs. But
that's hilarious.
And with drink tickets. But I worked at Red Dog on house night. Mm-hmm. It was on North and Damon. It's still there. Right on the corner. It's a 3-story club. 3-story club in the heart of Wicker Park that's been closed for like 10 years.
Damn.
And like it used to be 2,000 people in that bitch.
That's live.
And like the whole floor be in there shaking and shit. So like Tuesday, might have been like house night, and then like Friday or something like that was like the hip hop night. I might have the nights backwards, I don't know. But my entry to Chicago nightlife, 2,000 people in the club, it's a 3-story club with different floors. So it wasn't a VIP section. It was a VIP floor.
Damn.
And then the VIP floor had like a high roller area like on top of that. So it was clubs within clubs. Mm-hmm. After E2, they closed all of them. So like where
what's E2?
E2 was a club? It was a club where like it was a fire. Something happened and the stairway was too steep and people fell down the stairs.
They got sampled and trampled over each other.
And like the stair was like, so it was like a hole, and they had to peel the people out one by one because they all fell down on top of each other and died and suffocated and smothered. And after that, it was no more Chicago super clubs. So the closer.
Why did people get trouble? Was people running out?
The stairs it's just like it was a death trap. Like the stairs was at the wrong angle. Like it's literally like I hadn't even been there that many times. I might have been. I don't even know why I was there, but I went there, and I remember going up them stairs and thinking to myself,
like, don't fall.
This is a death trap. So when after E2, Chicago club scene. So we never had. So in the last 10, 15 years, it's not really been a club scene. It's been more of a bar scene. Okay. And the only thing that you could say maybe close to the original Chicago club was the Mid. That was the only thing close to what we used to have.
And I think you probably have driven past the old Mid, right?
Where's that?
If you look over where, what do we call that shit that the tech folks came, that area?
Well, it's back to what they call it, what it used to be, Haymarket Square or Fulton Avenue.
Fulton
Market, right?
Yeah,
it's literally right on the end of Fulton Market. It's a gray building,
It's a high-rise now.
It's a gray building, right? It was, yeah, it's a high-rise now. It was a gray building right there that, used to have a lot. It was a huge concert venue, and it was a huge party club.
What's the name of it again?
It used to be called the Mid. Before that, it was like a lesbian club, and it's like it used to be an after hours joint that would like close at 4 or 5.
I'll definitely drop by for sure.
Because they had like a real late license. So before it became the Mid and became like an EDM type you dig, I forgot the name of it, but people used to go there and look for threesomes late night. And
but even with that stuff, there,
but right? That's old Chicago. But like that's what I grew up in.
But right now, different. Talking about things like I remember when All-Star Weekend was there, right?
Yeah,
people were all over Fulton Market, right? Because again, there's so much money that comes through that area, and again, they have all of these venues that people are able to use as pop-up spots, right?
Yeah.
That idea of using those as pop-up spots didn't go away, but keep in mind we've become more segregated because of COVID.
Yeah,
they gonna have their stuff over there. I think we might end up, like I said, on the south side, maybe Bronzeville. Maybe Bronzeville or Hyde Park. Yeah, Hyde Park and Bronzeville.
Them gonna be the new cool neighborhoods because the neighborhoods ain't made by buildings; they made by people.
Yeah.
And when the people move around, then you just got high ass rent in the neighborhood that used to be cool.
I still might pop in Pilsen though. You know I passed.
Yeah, you.
She said, I passed.
Yeah, you going right ahead.
But I did. I mean, because I think being a transplant of Chicago, that was definitely a hard thing to try to figure out. It was like, where niggas be at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because every place that seemed like, because like you was talking about the bar, that make a lot of sense. Because every place where I will go past or drive past and be like, oh, there's a lot of niggas in here. Maybe, but it just seemed like, this don't seem like a place I could just go to though. Like this seemed like this is off of such and such 5th or Street, whatever.
No.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of niggas. Yeah, I'm hearing music playing, but I don't even know if that's like
where you should, And you also gotta. What's interesting is we never wanted that whole drill scene to get out, Chicago, because we never. If you look at the artists that we pushed prior to that, they've always had a Huxtable vibe to them.
For sure.
Common.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's a Huxtable.
Real Argyle sweater like.
Kanye. Chance the Rapper.
Mm-hmm. But I would say that the drill scene, I remember when it happened.
Very true.
Like I was an advocate on the inside of the,
I was against the
dark building. I was an advocate on the inside just because
to that government building.
Yeah, the kids were. I saw the kids' passion, and I think that was what excited me.
Yeah, you was going off emotion. I was going off of this is a bad precedent.
But like I remember that passion, seeing how passionate these kids were for Lil Durk. I remember I think Andrew Barber, he could tell you there was a video when Chief Keef got off house arrest, right?
Right.
This little kid going crazy. And I didn't know who the fuck he was talking about. And me and Andrew, I called Andrew and I was like, "Hey man, what is this?" Now I listened to his music and I was like, "Okay, his music sounds a little rough." I was like, "But it's 75 people out there, dog, and they all seem to be in tune with this." And then me and GLC met up that Tuesday, I think, after I left the radio station. We met up because we had a connect that was able to get us over at his grandmother's house to meet him, because he was on house arrest. I think he was on house arrest at his grandmother's house.
Okay.
And so, that was the first time I met Keith.
I think what you're saying make a lot of sense because now so much of it is like based in old to now new gang politics of Chicago.
Right.
And it's kind of like, why would any city want that to be
that was
used as like a talking point or something to be debated?
That was never supposed to be seen.
Yeah.
It was never supposed to be seen.
Yeah.
At all. And part of the reason why it's not easy to find the Chicago scene and the movers and shakers is because for so long they've been seeking places where those people aren't. That's why a lot of Southside was in Wicker Park. Because they got tired of living next to Bang Bang.
Yeah.
That's why even if you show up in Chicago, you know there's a thriving networking community, and Morgan could probably find out what a party is tonight. I could find out what a party is tonight.
But y'all,
but if you are not
exactly
tapped in,
exactly,
you won't know. Like, and a lot of times, like for example, $10 Tuesdays used to be the best place to network in the city of Chicago, hands down. The same people you would see at Tuesday night at Beauty Bar at the $2 party was the same exact people you was gonna see in the green room at the House of Blues.
Damn.
It was this. Am I lying more?
Nope.
It was the same exact human beings. So if you wanted to power network, whatever the fuck that means. You could go and chase the wristband and green room circuit and run yourself into a wall, or you could have just went to $10 Tuesdays, and got the same amount of FaceTime with the same amount of people, if you knew. So that's how Chicago shit works.
And you know, and it's crazy because I don't know. It's just like I'm thinking about because you pulled up this thing about LA, right? It's crazy because I feel like LA, at least maybe I just don't know enough about to pick up certain things. I feel like they have figured out how to push a gang aesthetic, but not the actual business. Like, I don't got to give y'all the details of the things, but we can push the aesthetic. While Chicago feels like it's like we're giving you the details. We saying names, we saying streets, we keeping it a bean about what the fuck it is and what the fuck it ain't. And you know what I'm saying? Because just because I don't think you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have that like. What's his name? Jerry from Tom and Jerry, whole Chirac, mini series of his without it being able to connect all these dots with information that's in the music and in real life.
They still have structure.
Yeah, because I don't know shit about Rolling Six. I don't know shit about these different joints.
They have old heads.
They have leaders. Like
they have
said.
leaders.
Yeah.
Their projects were not torn down. Their leadership was not all incarcerated. So, do those type of motherfuckers exist in LA? Yes.
For sure. That makes sense.
Do that treacherous ass shit go down? Yes. Is South Central the South Side? Yeah. Don't fuck a palm tree. That's a skinny ass tree. Ain't no difference between a palm tree and an oak tree. Them same niggas. Same fucking niggas. The only difference is they old heads have kept structure, law, and order, and they are presenting and marketing it the way that they want it to be marketed. They find champions that's gonna get them the look that they want.
Exactly.
This is our champion blood.
Yes.
This is our champion Crip. This is what we want, the face of Crip. They got a Crip LLC.
Yeah.
Crips LLC and Nipsey Hussle's LLC was just going at it, and they stopped. They're incorporated. So these people are officially the stamped, branded version of what they want you to think the shit is.
Yeah.
The Chicago niggas, they got hot, they went viral, they was young, and it just got out of control, and they got more money than they owed they big homies, so and they became the big homie.
Yeah, you can't little bro me now.
Cat was out the bag.
So what do you think about, there was a story that came out that Lil Durk is trying to buy O Block. Because O Block was put up for sale. Now, O Block is probably going to sell for
63rd to it goes from 63rd to about 65th, maybe 66th.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot.
But it's like, I mean, that's when we're talking about well over 100 million.
Yeah.
And so I would like to.
That's crazy that the projects cost 100 million. Yeah. Think about it. The projects cost 100 million.
Ooh. Nah, but that's like but honestly, it's like I wish him well with that aspiration. I hope that he has the people around him who can help him like secure a offer, because I'm pretty sure that they're going up against some other people who just don't want black people.
I know somebody in urban development
if I would buy Parkway, the first thing I would do, and I don't give a fuck with anybody here, I would tear that motherfucker down. No. I'm dead. You know what I mean? Acres that is. Prime property right off 63rd, while we already is extending University of Chicago because University of Chicago students can't afford Hyde Park as much anymore. That's why they on this block over here. Y'all think it's it's little Asian girls live
I be seeing
Yeah, we saying when we pull
I be seeing
up.
they little kids.
Yeah, you see little Asians out now. About 12 o'clock at night, you gonna hear that Glock 40 go. But don't get it twisted.
Oh, they got that ring like going crazy.
Oh, they got
the what's that app? What is the neighbors or my neighborhood, my block or something like that?
I don't need my block. I just need a window. I can hear these motherfuckers. Fuck you niggas on East End. Anyway, I'm saying that to say it ain't got nothing to do with race. Cause I would tear that bitch down and build some shit that look like some Lincoln Park shit over there. And I would cause they already got the all you need is the blueprints, right? So all them brand new buildings that they just threw in Lincoln Park, all that shit they just threw in Wicker Park, all that shit they just threw in
that they
Humboldt
about to
Park,
waste.
all that shit that it's already zoned for what 6-7 stories over there, something like that. And they used to have a project building that they tore down right there. That was a 17-story building. So arguably I could get that shit zoned 17 stories, something like that. I would tear all that shit to the ground. I would build it back up and make it look nicer than all the nicest shit in Lincoln Park. And then after that, I would turn around and get comps on my ops neighborhood, and I would buy up all they motherfucking foreclosures and tax liens and use my shit as the comps to turn around and use that to sell they shit as condos. That's what I would do. You want to really
Get back.
You want to piss the ops off?
Really?
Nigga, bat a block.
For real.
Bat a block. Get some personal security over there. And have CPD run them niggas off the block. That's gangster.
Well, I'll tell you the only time that I anticipate partying with the white folks will be in February. And
what's that? February, nigga? That's a whole...
I know, that's February 22. We're going to be singing this.
February 22nd, the return to shit. That's the Super Bowl on February 22nd?
No, it's in February.
Oh man. Hey, look. I have not watched the
Super Bowl
Bears.
gonna be in Chicago?
No, but what I'm saying, we gonna...
Hey, look.
You silly as hell.
We're gonna be in the Super Bowl,
I have not
silly as hell.
watched the Bears since they traded Matt Forte. I do not believe in Chicago sports franchises when it comes to drafting. We got Michael Jordan on accident. We got Scottie Pippen on accident.
We got Derrick Rose on accident.
We got Derrick Rose through the luck of the gods.
Yeah, he could have won anyway.
I had tuned him out. I woke up and I saw on my thing, but it wasn't from an official source when I turned on YouTube, and it said Justin Fields to the Chicago Bears. And I was like, this is clearly a mock.
It's bullshit. This can't be real.
This can't be real. Like, so I kept scrolling. I didn't even hit the link. I kept scrolling. And as it turns out, day one, we got arguably one of the top three players.
Top two. I would say top two. The second best quarterback on everybody's board.
Went 28-2 in his college career.
You played for Auburn?
No, he played for Ohio State.
Come on, the Ohio State. Don't be dissing Justin Fields.
Hey,
like
man.
that, man.
Only thing, Ohio State quarterbacks is kind of like Florida quarterbacks. I'm not sold on.
I'm saying this as a, just sister in the community, and I love it. Yo, did you see the stallion that is his girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
We got drafted.
Oh, yeah.
Let me
Hold
look
on,
at her.
Healthy.
Look, I saw.
Where's she from? He from Senegal, Georgia, Senaway or something?
Hey, man, look. I remember when it happened. I remember when it
stood up
happened.
and
Yo, hold on. I was looking.
Man.
I saw. No, because look, they said on the screen.
On the
screen, they was talking about they was talking about a pick, and then they all of a sudden it was like trade has been made. The Bears are now on the clock, and then Mike Greenberg, I heard him say it's been a trade on the clock, but they had a split screen. They had Mac Jones
sitting there,
and he was just looking at his phone
with his Opie haircut.
I was like, hell no, don't do this to me, Bears. But then I saw there wasn't nobody in Justin Fields' living room.
No.
And then all of a sudden I said, when I saw him
which
walk back
one was
in
his
the
girl,
room,
the one in the black dress?
yes, when I saw him walk back in the room, I said, hold on. I said, did y'all see? And I wasn't even talking. It wasn't nobody around me. But I literally said out loud, I said, y'all see Justin Fields? He on his phone. But I also noticed, I was like, yo, that was a healthy wagon and thighs.
She was dragged.
Walked by.
That was hot water cornbread. You know what?
Man,
You could tell she ate like Hawaiian bread hamburgers and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now. Come on now.
Yeah, like that wasn't regular bread. That was that jerk. That was that Jamaican bread and shit that you got to like soak all the jerk sauce.
Got the cocoa
up.
bread.
Yeah, she got that. I woke up
bread booty.
and then not only did they get potentially a generational talent, they turned around in the next 2 rounds. Got 2 big 6'6", 315-pound offensive linemen
to protect him.
To protect the young man.
Because you got to.
Then after
protect
that, they turned around and got the guy who had the number 3 amount of yards in college. He's supposed to be our new Devin Hester.
Well, let's not say he knew Devin Hester.
Hey,
Devin Hester
is one of a kind.
Devin Hester was generational. Like,
yeah, he was cold.
He gonna be a Hall of Famer. Like,
look, Herbert. Let me explain something to you. Herbert is about 4'3", 4'4", 40.
That's cool, but
and look. Here's the crazy part about it. Here's why I think he might be good. I hear you on Devin Hester.
Yeah.
Here's why I think he might be good. He's a one cut and go runner. I already looked at the film. I looked at the game film. The man makes a cut, and he go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Like I said, I'm gonna be cautiously. I'm cautiously optimistic about Justin
about
Fields
everybody.
too. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We done had Jamarcus Russells. We done had Ryan Fitzpatrick.
But the
we
Bears
done had
drafted
Tim Tebow's.
The Bears drafted a melanated quarterback.
Winning
when
guy,
last time they had a black quarterback?
Cordell Stewart. He was terrible for one season.
I'm talking about they drafted a melanated quarterback.
It ain't even got nothing to do with him being melanated.
They traded up and drafted.
They traded up.
Well, they traded up to get Mitch
got
Trubisky
a new
too.
Yeah, that was terrible. They got a new quarterback, 2 offensive linemen.
I can't find her. I'm trying to find her.
They got 2 offensive linemen. They got 2 people for special teams, a safety and a defensive tackle.
Oh, they did good.
And
they racked up.
Yeah, they racked up. And the defensive tackle, one of them big Samoan Pacific Islander motherfuckers.
The D tackle.
Yeah, the D tackle looked like he one of them niggas from Long Beach.
They be training in gravel with rocks.
With like tattoos on their arm. They carry shotguns. One of them big ass motherfuckers. Like he just a big burly nasty motherfucker.
That's good. They got balance.
I can't wait for training camp.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that Justin Fields is gonna have both Andy Dalton and Nick Foles in training camp to sit there and watch and study. I'm glad that they got
some good backups too.
I'm glad that they
got some decent backups.
No, he's the backup. We don't need Justin until late. Like we don't need Justin.
Andy, I'm still tripping. He tweeted QB1 a few months ago.
He is.
I mean,
he is.
Justin probably gonna. They probably because I mean,
if the Bears
depending on how the game, depending on how the game plan go down that they marking up, because it's a lot more speed in the quarterback position now across the whole league.
I'm gonna be honest.
So if he got a little bit of feet under him, then it's going game plan wise. We kind of might not want to.
And if you have a quarterback who people actually fear and who can actually connect. When Mooney and them are cutting and they beating the fucking receivers.
Listen, we brought up the thick young lady.
What
we didn't bring up is that nigga was mad. When he put on that motherfucking Bears hat, let me explain something to you. That boy was pissed off. When I say pissed off, you could see it in his soul. He, in his mind, I think he always dreamed that he was going to win the Heisman Trophy and go number 1. And when both of them didn't happen on the season that he didn't have to come back from, that ended due to COVID, and he beat last year, Clemson beat him. Trevor Lawrence went number 1. Last year, Clemson beat him. This year he beat Trevor Lawrence. And then the nigga I beat go number 1.
Yep.
And I go number 11. That motherfucker was pissed. When I say pissed off, he was so pissed off. Let me tell you how excited I am. And then just let you know how excited I am. I went back and watched a Tom Brady interview. And they asked Tom Brady about when he was drafted. Tom Brady knew the name of every quarterback that was drafted before him. First and
that nigga was in the 6th round.
That's my motherfucking point.
Golly. Talk about
he was sitting there, they was like, yeah, so it was Ryan. Like he started naming niggas who didn't make it through the fucking
Training camp.
He named every motherfucker who got drafted before him that year. And the reason I watched that interview is so I could go back again and watch Justin Fields' face. And Justin Fields had that look on his face.
That is
about to get
awesome. I've seen a lot of people who do that as well. Draymond Green did that.
And don't ever in your fucking life bring Draymond Green whack ass up.
Draymond Green. Remember every player drafted ahead of him.
Fuck Draymond.
He was the 28th pick or something. He remember every
Draymond Green.
He a champion, so I guess that much.
Fuck Draymond. You know who else a champion? Luke Longley.
Hey man. Now
fuck Draymond.
If
I was fucking Steph, I'd slap his ass every time I thought about it. Bitch ass nigga.
Onto a different subject.
Fuck you, Draymond.
Onto a different subject.
Fuck you, Draymond.
One of the hottest topics, on the hip hop side, on the podcast side, has been about the Joe Budden podcast and his
very involved.
No, his tiff with his friends and co-hosts, Rory and Mal.
Yeah.
So for about, I believe it was 6 weeks. They
6
said
weeks. 6 weeks.
Yeah.
40 days. 40 nights.
That Rory and Mal were not a part of the show. He had kept the show going. And people wondered, if there would be any resolution. Well, these are their words. They had a 7-hour sit down, talked over things.
These niggas went to work.
And then they, did
they also had a fist fight.
They did a show, right? Now,
they alluded to it.
I would say this, they did a show.
I wouldn't,
They did the show, and
it was terrible.
Some of the things that were said on their first comeback show, and I'm gonna be honest, as somebody who has been a fan of the show, I couldn't stomach listening to all of the show.
Oh no!
And I didn't listen to the latest episode either.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll be able to start listening again. Partially because, not partially, I'll say totally because of just some of the language that was used. There was a point where Joe was asked if he owes his friends respect, and he said no. Now, me personally, I feel a way about that statement. The reason I feel a way about that statement is I think that respect is something that you should give, because I know we all seek respect. Nobody intends to be disrespected. But I think, obviously strangers, you don't know strangers, treat them like humans. But when you call someone a friend, this is somebody who I believe you should treat with respect, I don't know, that's just how I feel. And I'll throw it over to you all.
No, I want to go Rodney. I
feel like I watched that episode. I watched all of it pretty much in one sitting. I think that I didn't enjoy the whole 6 weeks where it was just Ish and Ice and shit. I thought that was pretty. I don't know. I think he could have even played that a little bit differently just to keep up the steam. I think he could have, even though it's not a Joe Budden thing to do, probably getting a celebrity or two or whatever, but putting consistent people in the place. Yeah. I get why Maul had the opinion of you didn't have to put two consistent people as if they were the replacements for us, because that just sends a particular message to the fans. And just adds to the shit that they don't even know what's going on. If we working this out, if we talking this out, you don't replace us. You don't do these things. Hence why you had the stance of just why you even do the show anyway. We could have worked this shit out before a whole nother episode came out. And I think Joe, to me, I boiled all that shit down too, because I agree with you. I didn't like that whole owing respect shit either. But I think what I already seen prior to all this shit happening was Joe really wants to be the BFF executive. He wants to be able to, for motherfuckers to like everything that he does and every decision that he makes, but also be respected and treated as the boss nigga that he sees himself to try to be. And I think that's not gonna happen. These niggas know you. They know you bullshit. They see through your bullshit. These your friends. These are your friends. Well, These are not it's hard to quote unquote be a boss or employer of your friends because these niggas know you. The reason why it's so easy to people to go into corporations and to maintain respect is because you don't know how I do when I leave work. All you know me as the lines are very distinct, and he wants people to see him like a Diddy and all these other things where it seemed like quote unquote Diddy is having fun with the people he employs and blah blah blah. But the thing about it is Diddy don't do well with that shit either. It's a lot of people looking at him like he a snake and he this and the third.
Everybody get their best album out of Diddy and never talk to him again.
Yeah, you could party with Diddy, you could do all these things, but that don't mean shit. You gonna get a great album
out of him, but that's
I think that's what he aspires to, and I think that's what his problem is that he truly feels like he deserves to be this.
Yeah, Theodore messed up, y'all.
Oh damn, Theodore. Oh man, that's sad. But I really feel like that's what it ultimately is. It's like that is the problem.
I'm looking at my cat right now. If y'all see why I'm quiet, he needs to take his medicine. He's being a diva right now. To what you said, I think that the semantics with Joe is the word owe. I think that's what he was saying. He doesn't owe anybody anything. No one owes him anything because owe insinuates debt. He was saying that their relationship isn't based off of debt. It isn't based off of owing. It's based off of choice. So as far as you owing anyone, and I think that's semantics, and I think that Rory said that. You don't owe anybody anything. But respect to me, liking me is optional. Respect is mandatory. I tell that to my daughter all the time. I tell her flat out, liking is optional, respect is mandatory.
Always.
You could like me or not. You have no option about whether or not you respect me. What I believe, and I think I said this a while back, he has taken on, this happens a lot in hip hop. So I'm used to this. This is what happens with rappers and all that all the time. Everybody starts off friends, everybody starts off doing their thing, and then somewhere along the line, somebody decides they're in charge, somebody decides this, somebody decides that, and it gets weird. You know what I'm saying? It gets real weird real fast.
When roles change. And roles change in terms of it's not lateral no more. Now it's horizontal in terms of how the roles change.
And then you have power struggles, and then you have all that nonsense.
Which to me, like I said before we turned the cameras on, Joe, you naming your show the Joe Budden Podcast
on the Joe Budden Network,
but you then have the opportunity to create a whole network, which I think is a smooth ass move to do, because I think that's just a natural progression of any popular podcast.
Right.
The fuck? Why would you name the shit your name again? Because to me, it's like you already are creating a space for you to kind of self-sabotage by way of your ego.
That's all.
It's like I'm just only feeding my ego. Only leaning into my narcissism even heavier instead of managing those things, because I know that I can be egotistical. I know I can be narcissistic. He not even managing. He just feeding the thing to not put more pressure on himself.
Let's look at what just happened. Everything that Rory and Mal criticized him for is the same thing that he criticized Spotify for last year. Because the fact of the matter is, if they want to just look at it from a purely, let's take Friends out the equation. Let's just look at it from a strictly numbers business standpoint. Their podcast that they built together is the anchor of the entire network. Mm-hmm. They commented, Rory said that when he went to the place where they filmed the other shows, they got catering and all that shit. Everything is set up nice. When they show up to where they got Doritos and red cups. How the fuck would you feel if the way that he was saying that Spotify treated them is the way he's now treating them?
Yeah.
The next thing is he thinks that he's their boss.
Yep.
He thinks that he's their boss. And the reason he thinks that he's their boss is because he went and signed whatever. The fact of the matter is that's their show. Period. And it doesn't work without them. He kept bringing up contracts. And I like Rory and Mal, because the conversation, the way I would have took it with Joe Budden is, okay, you don't want to talk about friends? Okay, you want to just talk about business? That's how you want to treat this? You want to talk about contractual obligations? All right, cool. So 90% of the views that come through your network come through us. So since 90% of the views that come to your network come through us, and you want to make deals with Cash App and Patreon, essentially we can hold your entire network hostage, because without this particular brand, this particular IP, none of your other contracts is worth two dead fucking flies.
Period.
We get 90% of the plays. Period. So if we get 90% of the plays, I need a complete contract renegotiation based on my performance. Since you don't want to make this about friends, since you want to make this about contracts, since you want to act like you my boss, all right, cool. Well, let me take this friend hat off that I done had on for a while. And hold on. Let me put my motherfucking executive hat on. Because what Joe Budden likes to do is what you said. He likes to switch from the talent hat to the producer hat. And then he likes to spin around. Because, like, sometimes I'm just the talent.
And you know what he does?
And then he'll spin it back around. I'm the producer.
The reason why he always ends up not mixing his words is because he always says shit like he respects these business people. He respects these executives for making these moves, and that's why. And Maul always catches them on that shit. I see it every time they have a artist versus business ass conversation, and it's always one of like, hold on, why would you? He was like, why don't you just pay the artist? Why are they blocked? Wouldn't that be? Ain't that what you said about such and such and this and that? And he was like, they signed the contract. That's the business. That is what it is. And it's like
his hat switch.
But it's like, Joe, make that make sense to all these other points that you made about artists need to be paid, artists should be treated fairly, so on and so forth. So to me, I think he desires and he wants to be in that position because he sees the level of control they've had on him before.
Yeah.
So he wants to be able to have that level of control in his own life. So he got to become that to a certain degree.
You know what?
But it's like, you can't do that to other people.
You know what? You know how you know who you're dealing with? And I've lost a lot. I got frenemies because of this. That's why you don't see no look on my face of shock, no look on nothing. No look at nothing. The amount of successful things that I've been a part of that I don't, like, people don't know that I was instrumental in until I say something would be fucking people's heads up. So I've been in this exact position. What happens is you don't know who you dealing with as a person until a person is winning, they losing, they sleepy, or they fucking hungry. They tired or they hungry. Everybody could be cool until they're winning, they losing, they tired, or they hungry. You could go out, and that's when you're going to find out who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. For better or for worse. There have been people who the moment because like winning does something to people if you're not used to winning.
Yeah.
See, if you're used to winning, like I remember there used to be an Emmett Till, I'm showing my age, there used to be an Emmett Till commercial with the Cowboys. And he was like, oh yeah, I just won the Emmett Smith.
Bro, you
because I was about to be like, showing your age. Emmett Till commercial. I'm like,
hey man, I hope ain't nobody made
I'm tired.
Emmett Till commercial, dog.
Well, stupid ass Wayne put that line. But anyway, Emmett Smith commercial.
Yeah, R.I.P. Emmett Till.
All right. hey, Southside nigga.
Southside for real.
Hey, that's wow.
But Emmett Smith, they had a commercial. And they was like, oh, you just won the Super Bowl. And they had him in the weight room. And he was like, how you feel? Bam. And he's in there doing reps the next day. Oh, man, you a champion now. And they show him doing wind sprints. I'm bringing that up to say some people are so used to success that when he won, his first thing was, let me get back in the gym because I'm a winner. Yeah. This isn't anything exciting to me.
Yeah.
Some people, when they win, like Tyler Heru. They say Tyler Heru down in Miami acting like a fucking celebrity right now. He ain't even won shit.
But
they just made it to the finals. I'm that nigga.
Don't you think that winning just accent, winning and losing, they both accent who you really are.
Who you already was.
Like, I think that deal at the end of the day, it's not like, for example, I think even looking at that Emmett Smith example, right? That's somebody who, good or bad, they gonna still put the work in,
right?
Because they always trying to get better, or they always trying to improve. They always trying to help the team succeed.
Yeah.
I think on the other end of it, Tyler Heru, for example, that's somebody who, you know, they looking for recognition in a way. So the moment that they start getting recognition, then they out there,
That's
you
Joe.
know, celebrating, you know, because they got the recognition. They're not just putting in the
He was
grunt
always
work.
on the, think about it, his career, he was always on the periphery. Even when he was at Def Jam,
Everybody
had a
around him was
#1
winning.
record, he was always on the periphery.
Yeah.
Now he's went from being on to now being in it. That's why even when they brought up the Khaled Khaled when they asked about it in the show, he couldn't even say what he thought about it.
Yeah.
Because he so wants to be a part of it. He's winning now. He's in the circle. He could FaceTime Hov. That means something to him.
Yeah.
That don't mean as much to them.
Yeah.
That don't mean nothing to them.
Nah.
And
which is to me the X factor of your show. It's like you got yo super passionate ass about nothing and something sometimes.
Right.
And then you got two people who work within the industry who got some skin in the game. You got motherfucking Maul, who is like Rockefeller's little brother.
Right, is that Biggs'
That's Biggs' little brother.
So he don't give a fuck about
He don't give a
Jay-Z?
fuck about a lot of shit.
Wait. So Maul Biggs' brother.
Yeah.
Maul is Biggs' brother.
Well,
Biggs is his manager.
Biggs is his manager.
Reasonable Doubt is about Biggs. Jay-Z had the contract, but Biggs had the real contract. Jay-Z had some, but Biggs. So Reasonable Doubt is about Biggs. So you excited to be FaceTiming a nigga who basically was funded by my brother, who anybody will tell you that was Biggs. You could watch that's why I love Drink Champs. And if you don't believe me, watch the Biggs interview when Nori sets up Big Face Gary to get Biggs. He just walked in, hey, Big Face Gary, we heard that it was really Biggs who started Rockefeller. Big Face Gary didn't know he wasn't supposed to say it. He was drunk. So he said, he was like, yeah, everybody know that. That was Biggs' money. Biggs is the person behind all this shit. And then Nori stares at the camera and winks like
that's the clip.
So you look at somebody like Joe Budden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they looking at Theodore. He ain't doing too hot. He need his medicine. He's got some inflammation. So imagine though, you grew up in Rockefeller.
Yeah.
You already a part of this.
Yeah.
You kicking it with Joe. You letting him stay in the game. You making phone calls for him. Right? Now, 10, 20 years later, your homie who was a dope fiend, now he got a bag and he telling you he your boss?
The fuck?
Homie, you know how many times motherfuckers told me to stop hanging out with your bitch ass and I vouched for you? You know how many behind the doors conversations done had about you over the years?
Word.
Nigga, do you know that you might halfway be in this position because I vouched for you?
And I've been solid.
A lot of times people don't.
Solid.
A lot of times, my frenemies who don't motherfucking acting funny don't realize that they made it in the room off my nigga. You got vouched by me.
They call me.
You on my guest list.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that happens to you, anything that you do while you are amongst my friends, the first person they gonna call back and run your credit back with is me, nigga. You are on my account.
Word.
Maybe you don't know how this shit works. And Morgan, am I lying? Is that how this shit works?
Real. That's dead ass.
If I bring you in, you on my account.
That's dead ass.
So what you don't realize is since I brought you in, nigga, I can take you out.
Mm-hmm.
I can make 5 phone calls. Go smoke 6 blunts with this person over here. Poison the well, poison the well, poison the well, poison the well, and you're burnt.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how this shit work?
But I think and I think that the thing that's important.
Nigga, you know who you talking to, homie?
I think that the important part of it is it's like recognizing who you are. Because I think even me myself, right? I've had to have moments where I had to get checked. Or I had to self-check, you know? Because sometimes you forget that, yo, at the end of the day, yeah, and I think you mentioned it last week where you talked about the top of the card or the bottom of the card.
Yeah.
Sometimes you let that bottom of the card, that title define you more than it should. Because the reality is you could lose that shit.
Now
Like, that shit could be gone. And then who the fuck are you? Because that's at the end of the day, that's who your next like collaboration, your next business venture.
Yeah.
Your next, like, you know, when you in these social settings, that's who people are talking to. That's who they reflecting about.
And that's what Maul and Rory keep saying. They saying our names do not come from the Joe Budden Podcast and the Joe Budden Network.
Yeah, even Rory. And people probably play, I think, in listening to the show as much as I do, I've like grown a respect for Rory.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I like his takes. And then you learn the shit that he does do behind the scenes. It's like, oh, this nigga really is out here trying to really make some things happen.
You could see the episode they had to fight on. What I think Joe Budden was first of all, Joe was being ignorant. If a red-headed ginger Irish man tells you he wants to fight you, nigga, they mean that shit. Like, don't be acting racist. That's a man. That's not a white man. That's a man standing before you. Now, he said he wants to fight. Maybe you're not familiar. I'm from Chicago. I know if a drunk Irish motherfucker tell me he wants to fight me, that's not a hypothetical thing. That motherfucker wants to fight me.
Like for a reason.
Yes. So you kept having a redhead Irishman from the East Coast. And let's be clear, Euros on the East Coast is not like Euros in the rest of America.
Yeah.
You get you a Boston European or a Brooklyn European.
Yeah.
That motherfucker.
They standing up.
They standing. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. So he was disrespecting that man. That man had that cord cutting ceremony. That's when it all went left.
And I think he broke up. And I think he got some relationship shit with his girl. He got some depression going on.
You see a bunch of shit. You see something in his eyes.
A bunch of shit.
You see something going on in Rory's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Then he told that motherfucker, "I'll fight you."
Yeah.
He fought his ass. So I think it's interesting. We're going to see if Joe actually pays attention, because his whole thing was, oh, look at the evil empire is shady. Oh, look at the evil empire is Spotify. Oh, look how they don't appreciate true art. Oh, all they care about is contracts and paperwork.
Yeah. Now
you on the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you saying, like you've become the very thing that you rallied against. And every time, like, I think that's the reoccurring story for this entire everything. Everybody become what they rally against.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is you hate, you eventually recreate.
That's why you have to
be careful when you find yourself not liking or figuring out that, I got all this fucking frustration or
about
anger
a particular
about this,
thing.
right? Because it's like, are you really frustrated about it, or are you just envious because you don't have it? Or because you don't possess it.
True disconnection comes from indifference. And I think that's the part that a lot of people don't really know. If you sit there and you hate a motherfucker, that means you're
emotionally connected.
And and I think a lot of people don't connect the dots because they think that hate is the opposite of love, when in actuality it's just a different version of the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like when you love somebody, you think about them all the time. When you're around them, you feel away. When you hate somebody, you think about them all the time. Mm-hmm. When you're around them, you think of some other way. Indifference means bring that motherfucker up, you be like, oh shit, damn, they do still exist, don't they?
Damn, that's crazy. They've been breathing the whole time.
Didn't even know. And it's plenty of people, if you really sit there and think about it, that you have this indifferent feeling to.
Yeah.
But it usually takes so much. It takes you literally getting to the point of realizing the pain that you feel about them. It's some shit that you can't even really handle, because it's like it's energy to literally hate them.
I'm glad you said that. Whatever you hate, you recreate, because you are intensely focusing your energy on that.
Yeah.
You are intensely focusing your energy on it. And I believe Joe he's on the verge. I'm not saying he's crossed over to the dark side yet, but he's starting to look like Anakin a little bit right before he ran up on them little kids and shit.
For real.
And when he ran up on it, he's starting to look like that, because he hated the powers that be. And now that he's become the power that be, he's getting very, very comfortable. He wanted to start a podcast so that he could speak his mind, and so people could say things that were, off the cuff. Now he's very, very controlled and very corporate. Yeah. He wanted to hang out with Cash App and Patreon and all that. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't imagine if you used to be my dope fiend ass roommate who I was basically keeping afloat. Yeah. And now you acting like you my boss 10 years later because you got an interview with the CEO of Cash App and Patreon, and the person who my big brother put on text you. But this nigga used to give me birthday presents and shit, and that's Uncle Jay. That's my nigga. Like,
I've been in the same room with him more times than I can count.
I was in the room with him before he was him.
When I was young, teenage.
I remember when fucking Volume 1 was coming out and they said it might be over. Nigga, like, and you trying to get me to be happy that my brother's business partner is talking to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to finish it and wrap that and tighten all that up, even on the Rory side of things, I think him coming at Maul saying like it's no reason you should ever be on the side of Rory. He said that in that return episode, and I'm weird. Like, obviously you don't really understand who the fuck your friend is. Obviously Maul isn't a person who. Obviously he's definitely a very particular type of person. You could tell he grew up with a very particular set of rules and things.
I don't know if he's from Harlem or the Bronx, but he an uptown nigga. But that's how they act.
But it's the fact of like, nobody's gonna sit here and go against some shit that they don't want to stand up in. Your ass disrespected him personally, and then tried to flex some type of some superiority or some shit on the motherfucker that he thought you seen as an equal as well. At least that's what you say.
No, I said he switched the hat and producer hat. He switched the friend and employer hat around too much. Hey, Maul. And then he'll switch. This is a business. And then Maul was like, hey, but I was sticking up to Rory. But I'm your friend. Like,
you should never, it should never be. And it's like, my nigga, what? That's crazy.
You going back and forth. So
that's crazy.
Prayers up to all of them, and I really want people to take this as a message of success, and how success is gonna really determine who the fuck you dealing with. I remember one time we just threw a fucking party. We didn't check millions. We threw a party. On the way to get breakfast, my homie's head was so fucking big that he couldn't fit in the doorway.
Stop it.
And we ain't. Our relationship was washed because we threw a party.
Stop. His head was still regular size.
Nigga, we put Vaseline on the motherfucking. Like, I had to push the nigga.
It was like Martin and Gina when her head was stuck in the.
Yeah, that nigga. When Gina got her head, that's how the nigga. We threw a party in the month, and here's what was crazy. I could say that it was at least 40% mine. I'm going, and I'm maybe 60, but I'm just going on the light side, 40. Nigga, how your head big on something this is ours. Even if it's 60-40, it's ours. Nigga, how your chest poked out around me? Oh, let me deflate it right quick.
Well, I'm sending prayers up. Hopefully they can get that stuff together. I might try to listen to some of that stuff.
Nah, I'm giving them a week because that first episode was rough.
Yeah.
They gotta get the feeling back.
And it literally looked like they was just showing up for a contract.
I wanna go to music theory now.
Okay.
This is Rodney's selection.
Okay.
And this is actually a record that I really want to talk about a little bit after.
Okay.
So here we go. This is off of Khaled Khaled. Every chance I get, Lil Baby, Lil Durk.
Take keepers too hard. We the best music. Take keep, fuck these niggas up. Another one. DJ Khaled. Scratched $1 million off my checklist 3 years ago. At 2 zeros to the 1, I'm in a different mode. This my life, do what I want, I be with different hoes. You know the pick and roll, I picked her up and sent her home. I got rich off strong, we get them in and get them gone. You know Trappy just got out, ain't have to put them on. We the ones who got the numbers to put the city on. It's the middle of the summer, I got a hoodie on. My demon time ain't nothing nice, I try not to wear nothing tight. I came up off of shooting dice, yeah. My little brother ain't living right. My sister them doing alright. My cousin them still serving life. Yeah. Seen the robber digging. I seen the preacher get caught for cheating. I break the bank for one of my people. I said I'm the one, they didn't believe me. I show them the facts, now they all need me. I'ma get cake as long as I'm breathing. They making it hard, this shit really easy. Yeah. I'ma turn up on a hater every chance that I get. I want the biggest watch that they got, don't care if that shit hurt my wrist. All these hoes fuck on us all, I wish I would claim that bitch. They get hard when they get guns, we got a hood full of sticks. Soon as they say we can't come, you know we'll run around that bitch. You can mix me with that shit, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes. Yeah. She think I'm a regular rapper, I'm not. One person come tell me we fucking, you block. Watch me run this shit to the tip of the top, me, keep going. Put my kids in Givenchy, she must ain't 1 + 1 is 3. I can't support your personal needs. She don't got a mortgage, moved in with a need. These niggas be capping, them cars be leased. Youngest in charge, I speak for the streets. I would nod and nod, they woke up a beast. Struggle what made me, we used to have water for dinner, we didn't have nothing to eat. Soon as I get on his ass, they gon' look on me bad. I'm like, damn, he was fucking with me. Yeah. I'ma turn up on a hater every chance that I get. I want the biggest watch that they got, don't care if that shit hurt my wrist. All these hoes fuck on us all, I wish I would claim that bitch. They get hard when they get guns, we got a hood full of sticks. Soon as they say we can't come, you know we'll run around that bitch. You can mix me with that shit, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes.
I'm from the trenches, nigga be tough on the net, but really be there for attention. Bitches be talking like they really rich, but really be begging me under my pictures. I give her 40, 50,000 cash to start up a business. I spend that shit at the dentist. I'd rather fucking impale but rent for a year just to get out of her feelings. I'm in the Lambo truck on my hood, nobody gon' tell me shit. Going to Cali, I pick my weed for sure, nobody gon' mail me shit. Dice game, crops a CeeLo, I need cash, don't sell me shit. Baby got his hood, I'm smashing, you can tell they really rich. Drop the low, ain't no room right now, I took her to the O. Then I put up on the lamb, cause she a fan of Booney Mo. I got the city on lock, fucking up all the ops. I be around with $3 million in jewelry, I'm standing on all the blocks. This an anthem, dropping the 6 in the Phantom, Black road truck with the always see-through mammy, I'm sitting on Panda, I love my cousin, she was a dancer. I love my brother, he was a scammer. Sit on my lap cause I'm pulling her tracks, and I fuck from the back cause she calling me handsome. Yeah.
I'ma turn up on a hater every chance that I get. I want the biggest watch that they got, don't care if that shit hurt my wrist. All these hoes fuck on us all, I wish I would claim that bitch. They get hard when they get guns, we got a hood full of sticks. Soon as they say we can't come, you know we'll run around that bitch. You can mix me with that shit, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes. We the best music.
Every chance I get, Lil Baby, Lil Durk. Yo, I'm a fan of that record, and like I said, I was having a conversation with my boy Script about this, and I was talking to him about Lil Baby in particular. I said, in my opinion, Lil Baby is having a 06, 07 type Wayne, run right now as far as his guest verses and his records and stuff.
He's having a run. I'm not gonna say the same impact, but say he's having that run.
I would say that he's having a run right now. I don't think the run is over. No. But I would also say, because then Script came back with, well, I think Durk is having that type of run, and I was like, Durk is killing it right now. But I do think that they're on two different levels. But I would say this, because they are working on a project together. I know they're working on a joint album. And I was thinking on the way here today, I was like, this is like the reverse of the Lil Wayne, Joel Santana, Can't Feel My Face that never came. You remember when that never came?
But I heard it. I've heard.
I know we all have heard
and
it.
And I see why it never came.
No, but we all. But I'm talking about in that moment, right? In that
it was
moment,
supposed to be that thing.
Yeah, it was supposed to be that thing, because keep in mind, Joel's was the new nigga who had the he had the flame behind him, but we all knew that Lil Wayne was the hottest nigga out right now. Now it's like the inverse, right? Because look, Lil Durk, he been out for a while now. Keep in mind, he started 2010.
Way longer.
Baby is a lot newer, but Baby is that hot nigga where it's almost like putting them from front to back to front. You switching the positions, but it's the same thing.
Durk, when Future ran out of gas, I feel like I didn't see this coming. Durk kind of is, and I'm not comparing them, but I'm just saying Future, when he ran out of gas, it kind of created a void.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, I don't know how, it's just like the Bears getting Justin Fields. I don't know how. I wasn't watching the draft. I just woke up one day and we just had Justin.
Yeah.
I don't know when Durk filled that void. I can't tell you when it happened. I can't tell you the day it happened. But I looked up one day and Durk was sitting in that slot,
and the battery got in his back. The battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when he left Def Jam.
Yeah,
I think that's a big part of it. But also, I think because I think comparing them is weird and funny, but I think in a weird way he did fill that void in the sense of how can I say it? Because he brings something different than him, but it definitely feel like it may not even be just him, because I feel like Future was taking up a huge lane. So him getting out of the way probably made the space for Durk and somebody else.
A bunch of somebodies.
But
he was the Future.
But truly, I love this record. I feel like featuring Lil Durk, featuring Lil Baby has been truly the thing that's probably has saved a lot of people's projects or EPs or singles for the past several months.
I think about it.
So it's kind of like putting them Khaled thinking, even if this, because I could see this song being a song that he calls Lil Baby and was like, all right, you got one with Durk. Why don't you can have this one.
Yeah.
Just by the way that it feels and sounds, it sounds like some shit that he was probably already working with Lil Baby on, and he already pulled Durk in for it. He probably was gonna use it for something else. He gave it to Khaled off the look.
This is a good record.
This is a great fucking record.
I don't really like the Khaled Khaled album because to me, it sounds like people made that album in a boardroom and not a studio. Yeah, it sounds like motherfuckers was literally like doing a fantasy draft. You know what I'm saying? And
for sure.
Like,
they got everybody.
Like it didn't feel like it was structured around the music. It felt like it was structured around. It felt like a fantasy draft pick. Like it didn't feel like they had an amazing song where the beat was phenomenal and Nas was just killing it and Jay needed to be on the song. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like people was literally doing some like Capcom versus Marvel and just putting together teams. You know what I'm saying?
Sampling song cries nuts to me.
It was the production on that shit was so from top to bottom. It was so.
It's kind of unique, right? Like you got somebody sampling, they know. It's like what the fuck?
He trying to redo Bad Boy. It's like
but
and Diddy was on there.
Diddy was on the album, and Diddy is he definitely. I think
that's what he. Remember when Bad Boy did it first, right?
I think he want to be like
and
that.
And then
though.
Murder Inc. came in and did it again. You know what I'm saying? So I think he wants to be the Bad Boy or Murder Inc. of the South. The problem is he doesn't have his own
Like I said
artists.
at the top of the show, right? The compilation album has to be extremely difficult to create in this campaign. In COVID. Because like I even think him taking a subject or saying that, I'm going to use this as the foundation of it. We're going to, sample a lot of like records, so at least we have like, some type of sound where we're doing something a little different than, the common just trap beat that people have. Yeah. And I think that like, I'll say this. I think that people are waiting on, because like we said at the top of the show, they haven't been around, so they don't even know the sounds that people are looking for right now. They don't know what's moving.
No, you ain't been in the club watching.
So it's like,
exactly.
They waiting on Drake to drop.
Yeah.
People waiting on that. And then, like I said, I think once like events start Rolling Loud started happening, once some other little festivals started happening, and then people around each other, and then they like, oh shit. People reacting to that shit this motherfucker doing, right? Mm-hmm. Oh shit, I seen the club
you know
go
what?
crazy.
A lot of those beats was subpar to me, but to the point that you're making, had artists been in the room, because like I know when I have studio sessions, sometimes I've developed enough respect, enough juice with an artist where they might just complete the record because they going off of me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. They might not all the way like the beat or the hook, but they just got enough faith in me, and they done seen me do a couple things that they didn't think would work before they worked again. So I'm just getting extended credit. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes you could sit in the room and you could just see somebody ain't feeling the vibe at all, and you just skip to the next track. Yeah. I think had they been in the studio with the artist, some of those beats that was selected may not have been selected because think about it, if it's just Khaled sitting in the studio picking beats, those beats is going to be selected based off what he drinking, what he smoking, and how he feeling. Yeah. That might not be what Lil Durk was feeling. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
But yeah, I think this is the best song I've heard off of it thus far. It's definitely
it's one of the better ones to me.
It sound like some Lakeshore Drive. It sound like some summer shit. It sound
well,
like.
Speaking of Lakeshore Drive, you do know that there's a city council vote about to happen about naming it Ensemble Drive.
Just leave it Lakeshore Drive.
You lying?
No, she just no.
Nobody. Ensemble ain't asked for this, man.
No,
he
nobody.
did know.
It's just like when they changed
give him a bigger
Congress to Ida
statue.
B. Wells.
Yeah.
Be like, Ida B. Wells don't need this. Like, y'all done
know,
named
y'all
after
niggas
a
wildin',
project.
bro.
Like,
Y'all-
you know, like now y'all naming after a street where the prison is at. I don't think she
Y'all think
needs
she
this.
wanted that,
I don't
bro?
think
Like,
she.
what y'all
This
on,
ain't
man?
this ain't a
Think the
legacy.
type of reform y'all was fighting. Y'all need to be careful about the reform y'all asking for.
this is-
'cause you're gonna get something totally different.
Yeah,
You're gonna
Some
get
bullshit.
this is a bunch of that.
Ensemble Drive.
What's that shit
Ensemble
called?
Drive. We on do. We on. Me,
Yo, what the hell is the
I like-
highlight?
down
What's
to
the
do.
highlight of Ensemble Drive? A third grader doing they fucking like history project, talking about, oh wow, I was riding down Ensemble Drive one day and I decided to look up the
Just
history
leave it
of
LSD.
Ensemble.
Leave it LSD.
It only makes sense. It only makes sense to leave it there. Don't rename
This
it.
is when people want representation but not policy.
Also, I am glad that Lil Durk, he was tweeting some stuff last night and people started investigating a lot and doing a lot and they started speculating that him and India Royale broke up. I mean, he was like, nah, that ain't what happened. But then he also said, this is what he said exactly via his tweet. I don't know what y'all thinking I'm talking about, but this ain't that. Y'all definitely ain't finna play with India or disrespect her, period. And so, you know, when the fans out here, you know, making up stories about you, I think that shows that, yo, you on people's minds.
Yeah.
Shout out to people who sit and make up stories about people they don't know because their lives are so useless. Without losers like you, we wouldn't have this industry.
And I dealt with that again this past week.
Hey,
I dealt with that again.
we don't
this
even
past
want you to
week.
get a life.
I dealt
no
with
more.
that
I know
again.
I used to be the main person saying
But-
get a life.
All right.
No, just follow us.
We gonna
Like
look
us,
at,
share, and subscribe.
right.
You don't need a life.
We're
We'll
gonna touch
live
a
it for you.
record that's been out for a while. I had never heard of this, but this is Neo's record today. It's by
Hypnotic.
I'm sorry, I'm over here about to say Hurricane. Hypnotic Brass Ensemble.
Ensemble.
It's called Heru. So that was Hypnotic Brass Ensemble. Heru. Now I know that you have a story about the Hypnotic Brass Ensemble. Talk about it a little bit.
That's Corliss Finest. I went to high school with those gentlemen. Corliss I was on the football team, well, at least freshman, but we had the worst football team and the best band. Like, no, for real. Corliss had the worst football team with the best band. And,
it'd be like that, though. And
people would literally go to our football teams just for the band. Like, we'd be losing by 20, but, like, the sidelines was lit. So later on, I came to find out that the reason why we had the best band is because them brothers was in the band. And their father had taught Earth, Wind, and Fire back in the day.
Oh, shit.
And worked with Sun Ra.
Oh, and, shit.
He's bless him. He's transitioned to spirit, so I know he's more powerful now. But they was raised learning how to play actual instruments. Back in the day, they used to street perform in New York, and during those times, they used to let me couch surf until they got discovered by Mos Def. While they were street performing, he made them their band for a while. They toured the world with him for a while. Went on tour with Prince. Prince kicked Portishead off tour and hand selected them to tour with him.
Damn.
Been on Ghostface albums. They career speaks for itself. But Heru is literally one of my favorite Hypnotic tracks.
I love that.
In a long time, and a lot of people don't know that they use G-Star models for a while.
Okay.
So they was G-Star models, all that stuff, and they were straight from the south side of Chicago, straight from the east side. They straight from the Hundreds, and whenever people from the Hundreds go on tour with Prince, I'm gonna be the person that shouts that out.
For real, that's music.
That's dope, man. I do like I became a fan of jazz, I think. Well, my mom is really into jazz. Like she used to do prior to COVID. She used to do a big jazz function on the south side in Bronzeville and all these other places or whatever every year. But I became more into it, I think, watching Clockers.
Okay.
Because I think the intro song on the front of Clockers.
Yeah, New York is a very jazzy
it
city.
was like, they had me going to research, right? Because then you go into streaming services and you like, okay, let me see what this is.
Clockers.
And then you start listening to some other stuff. Right. So another person who's been instrumental in me, getting more into jazz, Robert Glasper.
Yeah.
Especially, the Robert Glasper Experiment.
Put you on to a lot of
my God, I was heavy into that. I remember going to a Robert Glasper Experiment show. And I mean, they have all of these guests, but they can still do a lot of these songs simply by themselves.
They're musicians.
Yes,
exactly.
They're like, it's a difference between artists, musicians, even studio artists. Every Hypnotic, they compose all of these songs themselves. They could read and write sheet music.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. They have also beat up entire cities. Sid, my homie Sid, got stitches from a fight that they had in a favela in Brazil, where they had to fight their way out of a favela and made it out alive. So they steal some East Side Hundreds ass niggas that just so happen to be the bad boys of jazz. And I'm a Hypnotic because I'm such a fan. I'm very, very particular about which songs I like. And Heru is really one of my favorite tracks that they've done in a long time.
Okay. I love that. I just had to download that one, and I'm probably gonna.
Wow. Man said he downloaded the album.
The
download that record, but I'm gonna check out more of their stuff though
wild,
as I go.
I ain't heard people say they downloaded nothing in a long time.
Alexis download. No. But check them out.
I want to make sure I get back to it. But I've been fucking with jazz for quite some time. My mom's a real big lover of jazz, and so she definitely played around the house. I think I grew an appreciation of it once I was a little bit older, obviously. But no, I love this track, and it's funny because you talked about Robert Glasper. I remember loving that fucking Dinner Party album that came out, where it was like him and Ninth Wonder and Terrence Martin
he don't
and
care.
Kamasi Washington all on that thing together, and they put out just the instrumental version
Robert
first.
Glasper
and then they put out the one with the actual vocals. And it was amazing.
He reminded me of like the Savion Glover of jazz.
I feel that. That's real.
Because you know, he is, like you say, he's so talented that if he wanted to, he could have went the super traditional jazz artist. But he said, you know what? That don't make no fucking sense.
Also, what he don't get a lot of recognition for, people don't know.
When he japped out on Lauryn Hill and said
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
When he said Lauryn Hill ain't producer, right? None of that shit.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. A lot of that, you know, he was a part of a lot of that.
Hey, I'm not gonna put it out there, but if y'all ever want to see a great interview,
that shit crazy.
Look up Robert Glasper talking about Lauryn Hill. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time.
For sure.
But I would just, if you want some entertainment, once this goes off, type in Robert Glasper, Lauryn Hill, Miseducation, and he gonna tell you everything you need to know about how that album was really made. But yeah, them my homies, Hypnotic. If y'all not in tune, get in tune. And it's real musicians out here. If y'all just saw them in the street, they out here drinking, smoking, acting like everybody else, but it's real musicians. And I wanna show how talented we really are, because we pigeonhole ourselves to one type of form of expression. And there's multiple forms of expression and shit. And that ain't the past. That's shit going on now.
My record today, I've changed it.
And people who think that I only roll but don't smoke, I'm here for you today.
So I changed my record, but I would say I think that Flo Milli has a decent verse on Toby's new record. Toby featuring Flo Milli, because
Toby who?
No, not Toby Lou. It's a different Toby.
You talking about the African Toby?
Yeah, Nigerian. Yeah.
Nigerian Toby?
Yeah, Nigerian Toby. Yeah. He has a new record out called Family Matters. But the record that we are focusing on today is Durag Activity, and that is Baby Keem and Travis Scott.
Freak bitch keep staring at the Draco. Table lob up on my summer, make my days long. Fuck up a bitch nigga in my bay clothes. Ask a question, all my friends are fake hoes. Double on no 666 your topic list. Used to do it 9 to 5, no double shift. If he don't share the hoe, he's not my friend. He playing greedy with the bitch, come get your mess. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Big stench, yes, you big stench. You big stench, yes, you big stench. You big stench in my life, you big stench. You big stench in my life, you big stench. I'm big rich. Go run that karma to your mama, ho, ho. You know I'm crazy like my mama, ho, ho. You know I get it from my mama, ho, ho. Don't talk to your mama crazy, ho, ho. Have a baby, ho. Give me top and braid my hair. Now while I'm praying, don't be eyeballing your sister, ho. Smoking mystical, two ho getting physical, more like scissoring. Kiss a bitch, no Listerine. Clitoris flickering, pussy tastes like tangerine. You went back to your ex on me, judge the flesh on me, but that shit don't mean anything. Quit texting me. You got an innocent face, I stroke it. You got good taste. When we met, I left you frozen. I know you wanna be a rich nigga, focus. You love me because I get the check and throw it. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Big stench, yes, you big stench. You big stench, yes, you big stench. You big stench in my life, you big stench. You big stench in my life, you big stench.
Your energy is 666 and minus plus. Then gotta put them crosses on before we met. What time we taking out today, my type of stress. I send them bus, my bus surprise, they gon' collect. Ain't seen your ass in about 2 weeks, but how you doing? Well, this Bugatti cost me 3, I tended to it.
Full trap, you an asshole.
If it's beef, it's pedigree, my dog's gon' chew it. Taking blues right after blues, that's how she blew it. Ain't the whole back before it got to me, she running through it. Keep talking reg when we do crash, just have insurance. Talking money when I'm on the Peloton for the endurance.
I get IQ and she cute, so she special. And I like the way she bounce it instrumental. I can't fall in love, it's fucking up my mental. I can't fuck with bitch niggas on a menstrual. To it, need the fate. safe. And she with the blicky when it's late. She brought me when I dick her down, she take my braids up. She go out, I go in, it's okay. She keep powder on her nose, it's not no makeup. Bandana silky on her braces, how they lay up. She need it like she need a taste.
Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Do-rag activity. Big stench, yes, you big stench. You big stench, yes, you big stench.
Baby Keem and Travis Scott.
Big stench.
It's called durag activity. I know that there's a lot of speculation about what's happening. You know, we saw the TDE framework with I think the date of May 7th.
Yeah, May.
Yeah.
But we don't know who album coming.
We don't know what project is coming or what album is coming, and people are saying Kendrick and yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm looking forward with the baby Keem. I know that he's your lane, but it still has a key Kendrick connection to it. He's younger than a lot of artists, man. But I think something that you were saying off mic, he's a lot more refined. Mm-hmm. You know, coming from that camp. You feel me? Like it's like they put you through a boot camp almost.
That's
you know,
what you're
we
supposed
talk about artist development.
That's what it's supposed to be.
But that's somebody who has been developed. Because
exactly.
I even think about the Orange Soda record to this.
Yeah,
you know, there is
variety.
Yeah,
because the durag activity sounds definitely reminiscent of what you will hear today. That repetition, real, you know, subject matter not being too complicated. But then you go to a whole nother track where it's like, oh, this nigga kind of got him trying to rap a little bit. Okay,
you said the magic word. Well, not word, but development.
That's it.
And L.A.
You can be what you want to be when you know all your tools. When you actually tapped in.
Well, the West Coast, they good for having artist development. Like they, a lot of times people get like a house in the valley, or maybe even Palmdale or some shit, and get like a little cheap a house, and just drop 4-5 producers in there, 2-3 rappers in there, and just monthly just send like a pound of weed, a box of steaks, a case of liquor, and you know, an ounce of party favors, and they just sit there and consistently make music.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
don't worry about nothing else.
Nah, you just sit here and you make music, and then once you make it in these little houses, then you bring it to the studio so we can hear it on the real speakers. Mm-hmm. So that's like that's a thing out in LA. And that's why a lot of people go there, for better or for worse. You know what I'm saying? Because I've heard about Internet Money's place, and supposedly that's a house of horrors. But that's a thing. And so Baby Keem, you could tell that he's been refined. You know what I'm saying? Even down to, we was talking about the lighting, the camera angles, the shadows, the lenses that they used was proper. The editing was proper. You can tell that there is it's a thread count. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times thread count isn't appreciated anymore. Like people just want to get something out and get it out fast. And you can literally tell it's a splice beat. You can tell that they use the iPhone to make the video. And ain't nothing wrong with splice beats. Ain't nothing wrong with iPhone videos.
You gotta do it though.
But I'm not supposed to be able to tell that this is a splice beat. I'm not supposed to be able to tell, because if I cut an iPhone the right way and I use a gimbal and I know how to get my angles, you're not gonna know it was a fucking iPhone.
Exactly.
You're not. And you could buy lenses for the iPhone to actually fisheye, do this, that, and the third. So I'm saying all that to say that there's a level of refinement to it. I like it. And it didn't seem like it didn't, like, you know how sometimes when artists get that feature, they try to swing for the fences and fuck up a little bit. I felt like he wasn't swinging for the fences with this Travis feature.
He stayed in his lane. He stayed in his pocket.
It wasn't like, you know, sometimes when like they see that fastball, they just they wind up striking out swinging for the fences.
No, it was like, hey, let me just put the ball in play.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. He just made a single, a stand up double, a single, but he's in play. Yeah. And I see a lot of times when people, like exactly the opposite of what I was saying about the Khaled record. It felt like this record was organic. The Khaled record kind of, to me, sounded like they was gluing verses together. You know what I'm saying? When they was like, we got Nas, so we need Jay. It didn't fit.
But you can't have no money grab when you step into anybody TDE related though.
So like
because you know your shit might not even you sit there have a money grab. It's like, hey y'all, I need a such and such verse from Kendrick or whatever, and Kendrick got to give you the green light of when to put that shit out. And he's like, no, don't put it out for another 6 more months. Yeah, he was like, damn, I'm trying to get this out for the summer. Don't put this out for 6 more months. That's when I'm giving to you, or that's when this makes sense for my shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the difference to people. It's like, I think that's why they winning in a lot of ways. They have been just as quiet as a lot of other people in a lot of aspects, and they are picking up activity now just right along with everyone else. But prior to that, they were quiet then too.
They're patient.
And no one would ever say TDE is losing right now.
You know why? Because they're not existing off of chaos. They don't exist off of socials. TDE and its affiliate, because this isn't TDE, it's Columbia, but TDE, the camp, the family. Even what we were saying about that Punch record. Yeah. They Room Full of Mirrors. Exist off of music. So when your brand is based off of music, you don't need to do all the pomp and circumstance and social media shit, all the flash and bang. A lot of times that flash is to get some attention for some shit that if it didn't have that flash on it, you wouldn't pay attention to, you know what I'm saying, to it on its own. So I like the record in that Travis Scott, arguably one of the biggest artists out there, he didn't swing for the fences. He stayed within his fucking lane. And
he didn't try to upstage.
He didn't try to get upstaged. He was not upstaged. And when you look at the video, it's clear that it's his song and it's his video.
Also,
a lot of artists can't pull that off.
Travis Scott, the British khakis. My cousin was hunting me down, asking me to get the Jordans that came out on Friday, dog. And
British khakis, what's that?
No, I missed them, dog. And look, they are running for $900 to $1,200
hell no.
on Gold, on StockX, everywhere. So what I'm saying now is, I'm making a plea. I'm making a plea to you, Travis Scott. I'm making a plea.
On the same colorways.
I'm making a plea to you for my 14-year-old cousin who I guess wants to, I don't know if he trying to do this shit for resale. I don't know what his plan is, but little homie about to graduate from 8th grade, man.
He don't need no $500 shoes. He be alright. Help me. Hey, nah, you know what? A little homie in Inglewood do not need no $500 shoes during this hot boy summer.
I want to see some hot men this summer. That's what I'm looking forward to.
The boys is gonna be hot. The men is gonna be patient.
I don't know.
The men, there's a difference between men and boys. Cause a boy is gonna be, he been sitting in here beating his dick all winter, so like he's ready to go out. Let me tell you the difference. The boy is ready to go out and get some pussy. So the boys is gonna be hot. The men,
they waiting on that vagina.
The men know these bitches been playing with their pussy. So he's waiting to figure out who deserves the dick. And it's the difference between getting some pussy and giving the dick. And the boys is about to go get some pussy. The men is going to choose who's worthy of the dick.
I mean, I hear you, but I also think that we're going to see a lot of people who just trying to get it in this summer, because I think that, like, keep in mind, a lot of people ain't had in-person contact and so. I mean, not even in-person contact. I'm talking about like they done had maybe they one or they two that they been,
friends, the 5 people.
They little bubbles, but now you gonna be out here in the world. You gonna be like, damn,
and somebody got their COVID body and
they built different. They built different now, fam.
Or you know what it is? I think in addition to that, not only is people physically gonna be built different, people mentally and emotionally is gonna be built way different. Yeah. When this shit open back up, nobody really knows who they talking to.
For real.
Because even if you talk to me 6 months ago, that's not the nigga you was talking to. Like if you was talking to me in October, those conversations is over. Let alone if the last time I saw you was pre-COVID, March, February. If you was talking to me in 2020, whatever we was talking about, shit's null and void.
Also be aware, some of us are not shaped like a wisdom tooth. this summer. So, because everybody been damn. No, because the bodies I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know the ones you're talking about.
That's funny as hell.
No, like the other day,
wisdom too.
Bitch shaped like a molder.
I found myself the other day. I was wearing. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was wearing a body shaper, and I was wearing the waist trainer on top of that, and I was walking around handling business.
I feel sorry for your organs,
and then
bitch.
here go the thing. Like I ain't realized how.
Hey, I want to give your kidney a hug.
I ain't realized like how much blood I was not getting to my brain because I almost put my key in the wrong car.
You gotta relax.
And I'm over there in Uptown, and I was like, "Yo, you gotta relax,
Look,
man. You be out here,
nigga."
For all the people who may follow Morgan's lead on this particular maneuver, cardio is the answer that you look for. Do not do that shit.
Hey, for all the people that's listening to Morgan, don't.
No, because like my homegirl, look,
cardio,
I hear her voice in my head when I'm asleep saying, "Are you wearing your waist trainer? Are you wearing your waist trainer? Are you wearing your waist trainer?" So it's like I be waking up and I be like, "Damn, I gotta put the waist trainer on because this is like."
But you ain't gotta wear it for 18 hours.
Yeah, and because but you know what? I'm happy because you brought up wisdom tooth body. Hot dog body is not cute either. Hot dog or ruler, depending on
hot dog.
It just ain't got nothing in the middle. It's just it's just silly, it's the same amount of width from the top to the bottom. That
Shut up. Yo, you wildin'.
It's built like a fucking Vienna.
No, Vienna.
And some other news that I'll slightly get to. They did a study, Black Club Chicago did, and they looked because we had another alderman who was indicted this past week.
Another one.
Do you realize that we've had 30 aldermen since 1973 in Chicago be indicted, charged,
and some did time?
Yes, who in jail?
Damn.
First of all, do you realize that the last 3 governors got locked up?
I know, like that's like and I'm
last 3 governors of
they in jail. Wait, Blagojevich out, right?
Yeah, Blago back.
Is the other one out?
Blago back.
Yeah.
No, but
fuck him.
I would say this because I'm like
they not even good criminals. But that's what pissed me off.
And that's the thing. Like I was looking at some of the crimes. Like one of them, he got caught up and he let a woman that he was sleeping with loaned his car to her, then called and reported it stolen.
The alderman did?
Yeah.
That's some bitch ass shit.
Some goofy shit.
But then
not you don't got the balls to be like, hey, I don't want to fuck with you.
I don't want to fuck with you no more, bitch.
Like, I need to find a way to really.
But then hold on, when he got he got ousted as councilman, I want to say like a few months later. But then like they said he's in jail right now.
Wow.
Because in January of this year, he was arrested for drunk driving. He hit 8 parked cars on the Gold Coast.
On the Gold Coast?
Oh, yeah, he hit them things.
Oh, so that nigga drove past Pirelli or some shit. And just
yeah. He sat there and hit nothing
Wait. Oh, that's how he got locked up.
He hit them errand running cars.
Because he hit the 8 people cars who own the politicians.
But I'm saying, like,
get this nigga out of here.
Like, no, in real life, because I'm talking to somebody who's working on a potential alderman campaign.
Damn,
right?
What the fuck is that?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking to somebody who's working on an alderman campaign, right? And as I'm talking to him, we like thinking about all of these possibilities and probabilities.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, yo, do you really want to put yourself in a situation where all of that shit that you do, you don't want to get caught up in no bullshit, you know?
Exactly.
Especially if this is a city where they actually looking at the aldermen and stuff like that and saying, yo, they looking for a reason to get your ass locked up. Like, I believe Jamal Green, for example, right? If he actually ran for alderman, he might win, right?
Fucking right.
But he'll be out of here in 3 months off some bullshit. They'll say that nigga was asking for too many chargebacks on shit. He was doing fraudulent chargebacks.
Here's the thing about that, for better or for worse. We getting to a point now where cancel culture is basically went from being a good to now you got to question, is it basic cyberbullying? And are we holding people to a standard that God don't even hold them to?
That part. Yeah. That part.
Like, cause now it's like, it's to the point where like you can't put yourself in the public eye Because if you have any flaw, then flawed people are going to point out your flaw. And it's at the point now, the reason I'm always like, fuck them, is because literally to me, a lot of times, it looks like cyberbullying.
It is.
And the reason why I'm always like, well, fuck them bitches, it's not because fuck that, it's because that's what I would tell somebody to tell a cyberbully. And I feel like people are just cyberbullying people and they saying they doing it because they woke and they progressive. No. You're a cyberbully and you're holding a human being to a standard that you don't meet, and that no spiritual teachings that have been mainstream in the world for 2,000 years said that man would meet either. Like the standard that you holding people, you yourself don't meet. And Islam didn't say humans made that standard. Yeah. Judaism never said humans met that standard. Hinduism,
and even when
Buddhism,
and even when we elect people,
the
right?
Tao?
Even when we elect people, or when we appoint people to these various positions, right? We have to keep in mind that they are human, and at the end of the day, they're not going to be perfect. Now, there are certain things that I think, that's like morally reprehensible, right? But I also believe that there are some things that we are saying are morally reprehensible, and then it's like, fam, you literally are doing the same thing.
All right, for example. So you saw last week, and this is the flip side of what we're saying. This is the flip side, because I'm agreeing with you, but I just want to counterpoint. You know what I'm saying? So they just tried, the Supreme Court just did some ruling where they made it so you could give minors the death penalty again. Right?
Yeah.
You see this shit?
Kind of fucked up shit is this.
But check this out. To your point, the guy that wrote the ruling was Kavanaugh, the one who Trump put in, who all of the controversy regarding him being a Supreme Court justice was the things that he said and did while he was in college. So he said and did these things while he was in college, and then later on when he became, then they was basically saying he was raping something weird.
They said that he was a part of, or he saw, or he was affiliated with a situation about 40 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So his argument was, I'm about to be a Supreme Court justice. Why are we bringing up what I did in college, right? He then turned around and said, these children who did something when they was 13 must go to jail for the rest of their life and cannot be forgiven.
Look at that.
The same guy that said these people cannot be forgiven ever. His argument to be a Supreme Court justice was, I was young.
Look at that.
Nigga. Or, to your point, that's politics. I like when I saw that blew my mind. Or another one with politics. You had stupid ass Brett Favre, right? He gets on thing and say, I don't like when, let's not make it about politics. Let's make it about sports, right? That's basically, I'm paraphrasing his shit, right? He's a athlete talking about politics where his co-host was a former political host on Fox News saying that he don't want athletes talking about politics. While you an athlete who got a show who's a co-host who talks about politics. Like, nigga, do you realize that what you just said?
The contradiction.
And it's like,
and humans are contradictory, and I think that's okay.
It's not.
I think it's
complex. Is it complex or is it contradictory?
I think it's both. I think contradictions.
I'm gonna go both.
I think contradictions
can
can be very complex because you can have them up like. You can have a motherfucker sitting here, literally, and it's been so many people be ousted, have created so many legislations against gay marriage, against so many different things with the LGBTQIA plus community. And then you find out they ass is having fucking full-blown orgies and all types of shit. Like, you be like, damn, not only are you like in the community, but nigga, you
the face of the community.
You doing the shit that niggas in the community is like, I don't even go to that.
Even talking
you breaking
about
the taboo.
Now,
like, damn, like,
I did hear something about sex parties yesterday, which I never thought about because I've never been to a queer sex party. But there was somebody who was like, as a bottom, when you see somebody else bottom, and it's like a UFC competition to see who could be the loudest and stuff. But I was like, anyway, and no,
it sound like high school. Like,
but no, and I want to say this, like
are you fucking
got
bitches
critiqued,
in the same room with your homies?
I got critiqued by somebody. They didn't come to me. They went to somebody who they believed had a connection to me to tell me that they did not appreciate a comment I made on a radio show on Monday.
Okay.
I was talking about Caitlyn Jenner running for governor.
Right.
And
the Republican governor.
I simply left it as, they said that they didn't like me saying that I think that Caitlyn can be viewed as a symbol of hope. They didn't like me saying that, right?
Okay.
And I was like, in full context, the entire quote, I said that Caitlyn coming out was a nightmare for me. Like, that put me in a position where it forced me to step out because I watched and heard her story, and I saw myself going down a similar path. And I'm talking about just into my personal life. Mm-hmm. So I was like, that was a nightmare for me. So in turn, she ended up giving me the courage to step into my full being, my full identity, right?
Oh, so you were speaking literally from your personal experience.
Yeah, so she's a symbol of hope, right? Even thinking about this podcast, right? Mm-hmm. That situation literally happened where I stepped out as myself with my best friend who passed, which part of the reason we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
So it is amazing to me that people put these, like they had somebody say that they thought that this person, this social activist, needed to talk to me because I was saying things that could be dangerous, Like, I could make people believe that Caitlyn is for trans people like that. And I was like, yo, I didn't say that. I literally talked about my personal experience. Nigga, I am a trans woman, And at the end of the day, I found some good out of her telling her story.
And then the same exact people who attempting to police your thoughts will then turn around and cry foul for the same judgment that they suggest for same treatment that they suggest for others. So what I'm saying is, hey, maybe we need to talk to Morgan about what she's saying, right? But then, is that same person open to people talking to them about what they're saying?
Period.
Like, so wait a minute.
Period.
So now you think that you have some form of authority on how other people present themselves. Self-appointed
Nobody's
authority.
Above reprieve.
Self-appointed, right? Even though authority is author of I, you know what I'm saying? But like I didn't give you this authority. But the same people, if they grandma or auntie said, as you were saying, your grandma, them shorts is short. How dare you have an opinion about me? Now, that's not what you said.
Yeah.
But a person would be like, oh, you have an opinion about me. How dare you? And then you be like, what? But this is my opinion about you. And it is the word. Nigga, what?
It doesn't make sense.
It does. It's ego. So I brought up this, and I'm glad you said everything. And I say this every week because the reason I'm glad you brought up Worldly, man. The reason we doing this show to me is because as y'all know, I'm against identity politics and representation. And the reason I'm against it is subtle because it leads to people doing shit like DuSable Drive, but then they still give an extra $200 million to the police. I don't want DuSable motherfucking Drive.
Right,
y'all can keep it Lakeshore Drive. Invest the $200 million into the fucking South Side.
Don't name it after a black man and then not give no money to black people.
Like, that don't mean nothing to me. Or you get the
vanity shit.
Or you get the identity politics where it's like, well, we have a black woman, queer, da-da-da-da-da, but when the push come to shove, they making the same exact moves as everybody else.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. The reason why this is another element is because I like bringing in another element, just another narrative, just another thought, just because everybody gonna be talking about the same thing. So let's just look at it a slightly different way. Talk about it for an hour or so once a week. Go back to your regular fucking scheduled program.
That's word.
But a lot of these people, if you look at them, they always try to pit. I'm good at PR. I'm good at this. I'm good at creating narratives. Morgan will tell you what we was doing in Blue was mostly just narrative. Now, they was doing good stuff, but we was doing narrative spinning. And I would spin some So when I hear people spinning narratives back to me, I know what goes on in that room. because I'm the king of that room. So when you send me some bullshit back to me, you don't do that. So all this stuff we point out is basically the same group of people who done went into two different camps, and they had convinced us that they two different sides fighting against each other. Yeah. When it's really the same motherfucking group of people.
They just indifferent.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. And they'll be like, I'm gay and I'm straight. No, you're not. I'm woman and I'm man. No, you're not. I'm rich and I'm poor. No, you're not. I'm black and I'm white. No, you're not. Y'all the same motherfucking group of people. And that's why this is another element, so we could point this out. And then after we point it out, admit that we hypocrites too. If, like, you know what I'm saying? Point out the hypocrisy and be like, I'm a hypocrite. You know? Like we talk about, people shouldn't like, shares, and comments. And what is we gonna say at the end?
Like, share, comment. Like, share, comment.
You know, so you brought this up just to talk about how politicians flip flop and how they so weeble wobble and all that shit. And I just wanted to make sure we wasn't making like it was just Chicago aldermen that do this goofy ass shit.
Nah, definitely ain't.
Brett Favre do this goofy ass shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they all do it, and we just have to call that out and talk about that, because the reason I know that everybody here gonna be successful. If y'all don't know, Rodney has pods. Rodney be doing a lot. Morgan is a real OG in this shit. I'm a rookie. I feel like the reason why I make sure I do my best to even listen. I know I talk a lot because I feel like what happened with Rory Mal and Joe Budden is terrible. Because they didn't respect each other. And this time I'm tied in the bow. Joe Budden is on the verge of becoming the exact person that we was talking about. He was ravishing against Slim Shady and what they did to him. Oh, the evil empire. Oh, Spotify's the evil empire. Mm-hmm. Oh, Def Jam's the evil empire. Oh, Jay-Z stole my beat.
And he was underdog too.
I'm the underdog. The moment you ain't the underdog no more,
you become the real you.
Become the real you.
And it seems like the people that he was rallying against is who he always wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And you said the magic word, envy. He wasn't talking about them because he wanted to rage against the machine and change it. He was talking about them because he wasn't on the list.
And you know why? Unlike Joe, because Joe is a person who's been through a lot of shit. What he feels like from his point of view, the motherfuckers who never get got are the motherfuckers on the top. The motherfuckers who pressing the buttons. From his perspective, it's like these executive motherfuckers, they ain't never getting stolen from or blah. You don't never hear stories
about. It's always me.
It's always them winning, taking from people, always getting new deals, acquiring businesses, doing the things.
You know what?
So it's like they're untouchable.
You know what Joe Budden?
So he wants to be untouchable.
You know what Joe Budden acting like? The new Red Americans. I ain't gonna say nothing after this. Y'all notice how Red America became the new niggas? Mm-hmm. They real niggerish all of a sudden, right? They want to fight. Mm-hmm. They angry. They got guns. Mm-hmm. They doing a whole bunch of drugs and shit. Yeah. They acting like they victims. Mm-hmm. They talking about how it's conspiracies.
The government don't give a damn about
them. The government don't give a damn about us.
Loudly too.
It seems like what you hate, you recreate. Mm-hmm. Joe Budden is on the verge. I'm not gonna stick a fork in him on this because I hope he comes back.
Hope he can change.
I hope he could come. I hope he has his Scrooge McDuck, Ghost of Christmas future moment and shit, and then wakes up and be like, Tiny Tim, go fetch us quail. I hope he has that moment. Yeah. But he's on the verge of that. And because what you hate, you fucking recreate. Mm-hmm. It's just like you say, hate is love. Yeah. Well, look, love is evil. Flip it backwards. Yeah. Love is evil with an O instead of an I. Mm-hmm. And for you to hate somebody, you gotta love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's something that
they gave him the opportunity.
People, it takes a lot to do that shadow work.
Hell yeah.
And figure that shit out.
Hell yeah.
And that shit's scary. That shit is frightening at times, right? Like, I'm gonna be honest, Jenny Mox just had a situation. She's the writer, producer off Pose or whatever. Yeah. She had an outburst the other day. And she...
Because Pose came back, I think.
Pose comes back, yeah. But she kind of shaded or said something kind of wild about her boyfriend. Okay. Where she told him, she was like, yo, I was going to leave you.
He on the show, right?
Yeah, she said, I was going to leave you. Yeah, but what did I do instead? I fucked somebody on the crew. Like in front of tons of people. She also stated that, she felt like she needed more, that trans people should be earning more. She also even mentioned something about another trans producer on the show and how she had been trying to dim her light to be bigger. Yeah. And I think that is some of the most powerful stuff. Like, outside of the fact that, it's kind of unfortunate that you would humiliate your partner. And I think that speaks to something that, I hope that, that situation gets reconciled and assisted in the way that it needs to be done. But I think that, and I mention that because when I saw that, right, a year ago, if I was me, Clubhouse was Clubhouse, I'd have made a room where I'd have talked about it. Why? Because I'd have wanted to shit on her. Yeah. And I say that because...
You didn't do it?
No, I didn't. And the reason I don't now is because, here go the thing. I realized at a certain point, you got this envy for her because you felt like, she cut her bridges, doing some work with People magazine or whatever, right? And now she's getting this, media light, and, you felt like you done did all this work, But I was like, I'm hating. I'm invisibly hating this person, right?
Oh, wow.
And I don't need to.
Not at all.
Because at the end of the day, guess what? What's for me is for me.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I can sit here and honor what she does too, right? That might be a process for me to still, get better at honoring what everybody else is doing. But I wanna say that, it's been so much easier for me to navigate without that,
That's amazing.
That voice in my ear. That voice in my ear telling me, you need to hate on this person. Yeah.
I could tell that whatever wound that was, that you've healed a lot of it. The fact that you could even verbalize that. Yeah. See, a lot of people experience that, but they're not even comfortable enough in their truth to admit it when the thought enters their mind, let alone verbalize it.
That's real. That's how you make it real.
Because, I've been going through a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of mirror work, tons of mirror work. I ain't said a lot of that shit out loud, you know what I'm saying? But now that you mention it, that's why Chicago is Haterville. It's not because it's really Haterville. It's because we don't know how to celebrate in the success for others. Because we believe that the world is finite. And if you believe that the world is finite, then that means that you think that it's only this many slots to go around. Yeah. It's only this much air, it's only this much water, it's only this much earth. You know what I'm saying? And then it's going to be supply and demand. So when you see a person get their shot, you don't believe that they got their shot. You believe they got the shot.
And that's the only one?
That's the shot. So a lot of times, I say it's not that people is haters here. It's that they don't have enough self-esteem to believe that can happen to them too. Mm-hmm. They act like that was the opportunity. Like Chance. People didn't see Chance and be like, oh, I could have my chance too. They saw Chance and was like, that was the chance. That was it. Mm-hmm. That was it. So if you believe that the world is finite, it's not easy to celebrate the success of others because their success is your loss. If it's only $1 million in the world and this person get 500,000, I mean it's only 500,000 for the less stuff. So their gain is your loss if you believe the world is finite. Yeah. When you open your mind to the fact that the universe is infinite, then your success becomes my success. Yeah. Because your success becomes proof of concept that success is now possible. So I could celebrate your success because you're showing me that is now a way. And those two, like when you look at people always talk about the Atlanta-Chicago thing, that's the difference. When Atlanta sees people get successful, they don't think, damn, Future got it. They think, shit, that boy got it.
I can get it.
I could get it too.
I'm from the same
They
block.
don't see a nigga with a gold chain and a Ferrari and think, I need to take his gold chain and his Ferrari. They think it's a store that sells Ferraris and gold chains, and they got a whole lot of Ferraris and they got a whole box of gold chains. I don't need your gold chain. I don't need your Ferrari. I don't need your bitch. Damn. That's your car. That's your bitch. And that's your jewelry. And that's your money. And guess what? If it's out there for you, it's out there for me. The fact that you can admit that to yourself means that you've reached, and I'm not saying like you at the mountaintop and no shit like that. Like, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying the fact that you can even acknowledge that. Yeah. Because I had to acknowledge I was in an imaginary competition with other artists in Chicago and other even like behind part of the shit we was doing, the tech shit, the black tech mecca and the blue and all that, that's because I was in an imaginary competition with motherfuckers. So I was like, oh, so y'all want to low-key try to blackball me from some shit? Alright, bitch, I got an event at Google now, nigga. I don't want to go to your goofy-ass party. Bitch, I'm at Google now. What? It's an imaginary fucking competition with people who didn't even give a fuck if I was breathing. Yeah. You know, and I'm going to say that out loud. You told your truth, I'm going to tell my truth. Part of the reason I was doing all that tech shit, because I was in an imaginary fucking competition with people. And when they would get some level of success, it wouldn't be, oh man, dreams come true. It would be, damn it, they got the slot. They got the slot. And because they got the slot is taken. The slot is filled. Ooh, my beats is better, my rhymes is better, my dick is bigger. Fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you was sitting stewing this shit and be mad at your damn self. You know what I'm saying? Mad at the world. Why? Because you secretly didn't believe in yourself in the first place, and you looked at their success as a way to show you how you're not successful instead of motivating you to believe what can be. You looked at their success as what is not. You know what I'm saying? Their success didn't show you what you can be. Their success showed you who you not. And then you got mad about it. And who did you wind up hurting? Your damn self.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. I was reading something about Chicago history because my friend who's just been helping me with a lot of stuff, especially when it came to really building the nerve to finally leave corporate America, right? And she said something to me. She was like, "You really need to like tap into the histories of Chicago," because she was like, "You may be having this real kind of mirroring existence and steps that you're taking with ancestors who walked these same paths, coming from Tennessee, coming to Chicago, and you want opportunity and all these different things." And I was like, okay, let me tap in. And one of the funniest things that I found was how people back in the day, we talking about almost a century ago, when this all started to begin with that Great Migration, they considered Chicago specifically be the promised land, and people was dropping everything and moving up here. It was. And I think it's interesting when you take the paradigm of a generation seeing it that way, right? And then you continue to allow the world just happens, urban development, so on and so on and so forth, and so many things that y'all have laid out to me in terms of what has happened in this neighborhood, got to this point. All these different things. Right. It bottlenecks everything into that perspective of like, of course I've seen motherfucker die yesterday, this, that, and the third. Yeah. It's only one spot. It's only one. It's limited. Yeah. And it makes sense. It feeds into that narrative, but what's interesting though is energy wise, creatively, and all those different things are still fueled by that promised land foundation.
I'm glad you said that. And it isn't okay. The energy is the energy. It's like fire. I can either go grill a steak or I could burn this bitch down with the fire. The fire is all the same. It's like knife. I could cut this steak with a knife. I could cut a nigga neck. Yep. So that don't make a difference. The energy, when it's harnessed correctly, is what makes us so world class and dynamic when we get out. Because it's like making it out of Sparta. Yeah. You make it out of Sparta, you could have been the most bitch ass Spartan in the world. But you take your ass to Athens. You are a killer. You know what I'm saying? So part of the reason Kanye is the monster that he is. Part of the reason why motherfucking Barack was the monster that he is. Part of the reason why whoever,
Quincy Jones,
Herbie Hancock, Derek, because you
Richard Pryor, Bernie Mac.
You make it out of this bitch. They say you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. I don't know about that.
Y'all don't know about it now.
You make it in Chicago, you can make it anywhere. We just don't harness the energy to be a fuel to power our ship to go forward. Yeah. Like Morgan said, and I'm just bouncing off Morgan because I had to admit I was doing some same goofy shit. You admit it? Guilty. I stopped using that energy as a way to have an imaginary competition with people who didn't give a fuck in the first place, and start using that same energy, that same fuel as a way to power me forward towards my definite aim and purpose, towards my definite chief aim. And I took that power that I was using to make it implosive and make it all this fire within me while I'm walking around. Because like my buddies done touched some bags. Like motherfuckers done did some shit and cut a nigga out. So I was and I took all that anger and I, instead of directed it inwards, shit was giving me ulcers. I couldn't eat shit right. You know what I'm saying? Instead of that, I took that same energy and used it as rocket fuel for my own personal evolution, for my own personal ascension. I used that fire that I had within me, and you said shadow work. Yeah. I used that fire to burn the fucking shadows all up out of me. You know what I'm saying? Shadow can't exist if in light, right? Yeah. So I used all that fire and turned that bitch into light. And I looked around my shadows and I was like, wait a minute. You niggas wasn't really haters. I wasn't on my shit. I could have did this, and this better. I didn't make these decisions because I felt emotionally this way about this, and this. I hadn't got over this chick. I hadn't got over that. I was emotionally scarred, immature, insecure. My thoughts was impure. You know what? If we didn't even get along and you was unsure about me, nigga, I was unsure about myself. So guess what? All is fucking forgiven. All is well. Let's keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And all that energy that I directed internally towards negativity, I was able to, in the words of Morgan, turn that into doing shadow work, recognize that regardless of anything these fuck niggas did, I was immature, I was insecure, and my thoughts and my emotions were impure. So whatever they said or did not matter, because I was immature, I was insecure, and my thoughts and my emotions were impure. And I was able to turn that fire into light, get the shadow up out of there, and that's why I'm excited to go out and meet people again, because it's like, hey, we didn't get along. Oh, you know why we didn't get along, nigga? I was insecure than a motherfucker. I had negative body image issues. I had unresolved childhood trauma. And on top of that, I was a deceitful little motherfucker that used to try to get over on people. So if you picked up on any of that shit, you was right.
Good job. Good discernment you had.
Yeah, you knew it. You saw through me. I was full of shit, right?
But I think that abundance happens so much in the South, or people at least expressing abundance or seeming like they're exemplifying that versus other places. It's because places like Chicago, places like LA, places like New York have so much, so many eyes. And the expectation is because you're from there, you have the quickest opportunity to be the biggest thing. In the South, we around nothing but a bunch of land and untouched earth.
See, that's why I like.
You know what I'm saying?
Me bringing in another element, because I didn't remember, because I'm from here, that we do have that mentality.
Like Chicagoans and New Yorkers are way more centric to their ideas.
You got to remember, this motherfucker went to school with the #1 NBA draft pick. Like, it's a different level of success. It's not like, if you in the middle of nowhere and somebody has success. It's like our homie, who we doing the show in honor of, was right there next to Jeremiah at Morgan Park. And while Jeremiah's at Morgan Park, fucking Derrick Rose is right around this is the generation they grew up with. So now you starting to try to keep up with the Joneses, not realizing the Joneses you keeping up with is one out of a billion type possibilities. You know what I'm saying? Like,
people no matter what part of the South you from, even if you from rural or slightly more, developed spaces, it's still still creates that dynamic because you done seen it happen. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers are building farms of the best running backs, the best wide receivers. These motherfuckers are. Motherfucker ain't thinking that we ain't gonna never have another. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Nah. We ain't thinking you're gonna never have another Michael Irvin in Miami. No. Nah, we about to produce 10 more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense. It makes sense. How you can have that particular mindset if the world is looking at you and you have this very centric mentality to the city and the location that you from. Folks in the South, we know everything about our surrounding and we paying attention to y'all. It's not while people in Chicago, New York, and LA, it's all LA. It's all New York. It's all Chicago until y'all leave.
Yeah, that's true.
Then when y'all leave, y'all talking about home, but y'all only doing it when it makes sense. Doing it in comparison, in contrast. But y'all are where y'all are.
I never, you know what, and we could wrap it up on, because everywhere I've ever really been is big cities. Yeah. Like my buddies Hypnotic, they used to let me couch surf when I was like 20, when they had their cribs out in Brooklyn and New York and all that. My cousins stay in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I lived in LA. Mm-hmm. So my point of view is very urban. Yeah. Like that's my entire point of view. Yeah. I don't really know anything else, and which is not good, but it's just the truth. So I didn't ever think that maybe that could because Morgan, we sitting here next to Morgan, and Morgan casually dropped a story. So yeah, I left work and I went and got Kanye's right hand man. Right. And wait. Listen to the flex. Listen to we go. I know you want to end it, but listen to the flex this bitch did. So yeah, I called Andrew. That's Andrew Barber, Fake Shore Drive, MTV, whatever. Mr. Early 2000s launch careers. So yeah, call Andrew and who is this Chief Keef guy, Andrew? Oh man, look at this thing. So yeah, all right, I'm leaving GCI. Hey, Kanye's right hand man, what you doing? Oh, nothing. What you want to do? Hey, it's a new kid who's viral and blowing up, who nobody could get to because they on house arrest. I made a phone call. We could pull up on this nigga grandma's house in 15 minutes.
To grandma's house.
What is you on? Like, did you hear the subtle flex? Mm-hmm. So, we get people like Morgan in the circle who could casually drop stories like that. Yeah. Now, let's say you went to the same high school, same this, same that, and you remember that you got an A in English and Morgan got a B. Yeah. I'm not saying you got to be in English. But
nigga, I got an F my first semester, and the teacher's name was my last name, Miss Murdoch. I never forget.
Okay, so
I never forget. Like, you know me.
So to make the story even worse, you got an A in English. This bitch got an F. Yeah. And now got a career in communications, but can't speak fucking English. I can't. What's that gonna do to your ego? Yeah. What's that gonna do to your competitive drive? Yeah. What's that gonna do?
Yeah, it's gonna drive. You gonna literally beat yourself up just to beat them.
And but what people didn't realize is Morgan is doing that to. That was Sherman at the time. Morgan doing that to herself. Yeah. Because once you make it to that plateau, you can see to the next plateau, and you ain't looking at the plateau behind you. You don't give a fuck what's going on down there. You just hope you didn't piss off enough people on your way up that you can slide down if need be. But all you really doing is looking up at this next plateau, and motherfuckers looking at your plateau feeling envious of you, not insecure about your plateau, not knowing that you looking at this next one, and you like, nigga, I ain't did shit.
Yeah, you super envious.
You super, because we at the precipice of success. Like, so by being at the precipice of success, you see people go super, like motherfucker, oh yeah, I went and pulled up on Chief Keef. Now this nigga signed the Interscope.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about it.
Chance used to be a young Chicago artist. Yeah. Chance opened for like a long time ago. Chance 19, motherfucker coming to the club. I'm like, who is this? Oh, this Chance. Chance perform. We perform. Motherfucker having a good time, standing in the crowd like a kid, right? Nobody. I just remember. 2 years later, this nigga's a millionaire. And I'm like, ain't that shorty that was just standing right there? It was like, yeah.
Bruh, I made him do his first interview when he was with Vic Mensa, when he was with the group Kids These Days, and then Chance came through, did his first interview.
Damn.
So
Interscope was calling me about Chief Keef before they signed him.
Just because they knew you had a literal, at least conversational relationship.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. If I was in Interscope in LA, I'd be like, oh, you work for the radio station and you and Kanye's right-hand man went to go meet him? Sound like the motherfucker I need to call. Like, so that's why we have this. But then we've normalized Morgan's success where we'd be like, shut your diva ass up. Yeah. But let's be clear, that's Morgan.
Yeah. I am a diva at times.
But I think about it like this. If Chicago is the third largest city in the nation, imagine what it's like being the 100th.
No.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you already at the top of the pyramid. You don't know where else to go other than all you see is the fucking sky. You lit. Yeah. While if you at the fucking middle block, bottom block, because that's you know you have everything to gain, and it's only worse if you backpedal.
Yeah. Now you say I never looked at it that way because when you Chicago, the first thing you do, you get to a certain point, you be like, I'm too big for this.
Yeah.
And then you be like, New York, LA, or Atlanta.
Yeah.
Here I come.
Yeah.
Or when you really think you cool, you start saying shit like London.
Yeah. But when you Southern,
I'm going to Paris. I'm going to Seoul.
In a real way, and not like just on some like you grew up in. Even if you did grow up in a major city from the South. It still ain't one of the largest cities. You still ain't them. Like a motherfucker could be from Houston. Houston big as hell.
It's wild.
But still have this chip on your shoulder about how much you had to do to get noticed. And whatever it is that you do.
So Chicago, did you hear that? That we don't know how we look on the outside.
Come on.
And
because I went to school.
Oh yeah, it's definitely some.
I went to school with All Star. I went to school with All Star.
That's how motherfuckers see it.
I went to school with All Star.
Yeah.
In Nashville.
Yeah.
He was the king out there.
Yeah.
They came in, they know who the fuck I was talking about. They said who?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we live in a bubble.
What?
Yeah. But understand, people everywhere else aren't. I won't even say it's a sense of enviousness. It's like I can only imagine with what I feel and like the energy that I have that I could go there and be in blase blah and like really, because all these motherfuckers there with all this opportunity, it don't seem like they're doing nothing with it.
Well, the reason why,
because it seems like you higher up on the tree.
The reason why, well, I'm glad we could say all this, and I want to wrap it up that I think the people that we was talking about non-positively earlier, the thing is they haven't done the shadow work.
Yeah.
And the reason that they're in the position they're in is because they haven't done the shadow work. Yeah. And I like what Morgan was able to say, be honest, like, hey, back in the day, I might have went on social media and attempted to pick at something, not because, and I might have had some validity to what I'm saying, but the actual true intent and purpose wasn't pure. So that would have made the validity just me justifying and rationalizing something I wanted to do anyway. So to even admit, and I said the people were cyberbully. So you said you'd have ran the clubhouse.
Yep. I'd have been a cyberbully.
And cyberbully out of jealousy, cherry picking data to back up something that was completely like you just creating a narrative to talk about something because you don't really want to talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And you look at any of the other hypocrites that we've been talking about today from top to bottom, they have not developed the strength as of yet to do that level of shadow work.
Yeah.
And to bring up what you said, what I like about what you said, because I know Morgan wanted to rap, but I want to hear your perspective. We don't know what we look like from the outside looking in. A lot of the reason why you see it the way you see it about how we moving is because people haven't done that shadow work yet. Like literally, that's all it boils down to. Brett Favre, if he had done the shadow work, would know that I cannot say that I don't believe that politics and sports should mix on a show that I have where I'm a fucking athlete and the host is a politician. Like, that doesn't make any sense if you do the shadow work. Brett Kavanaugh can't justify that I could basically give this person a death sentence for decisions that they made
as a child,
but then say I can't be judged for decisions that I made as a young adult.
Yeah, not even just a child.
He didn't make these decisions at 13. He made these decisions at 21. He wants a pass for decisions that he made at 21 by same time saying that someone else is not redeemable for decisions that they made at 13. You can't say that goofy ass shit if you done actually done some form of shadow fucking work. And if you look at the music that we all picked today, each one of the artists that we picked, each one of the songs that we picked, if you notice, it was balanced artists that was making art, that was doing their thing. Even the Lil Baby and Durk record, it was just a good record.
Yeah.
It to me, that sounded like the only record that wasn't just a paint by numbers record. The rest of the album sound like some paint by numbers shit. You know what I'm saying? But it sounded like they made a record. So that's the running theme. Like, I notice each one of our shows, y'all might think we be coming up with these themes, but we don't. It's just at the end of the day, I'm able to just
put it all together,
tie the dots together.
Yeah, that's real.
So even the hypocrites, I'm not even mad at the hypocrites. I'm happy for us. And to develop that strength of character to recognize that our way wasn't working and to recognize that we was living in shadow. You know what I'm saying? Because once you recognize you living in shadow, you got two choices. You could sit in the shadow or you can get the fuck out the shadow. But you can't do that until you recognize that you coming from a shadow place. So I believe that, all these, like, what was it in Lion King? The shadow. That's where our kingdom ends. I think a lot of these people he's talking about on the not positive side, that they over there with Scar and the hyenas and shit, living in the shadow kingdom and shit. And it's time for them to come into the light because they looking funny.
Yeah.
They looking funny.
Well, what y'all got planned for this week?
I might fuck around and be in DC getting some money from some Africans.
Okay.
That's a good place to get money with Africans.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
DC is a melting pot.
Yeah, give me some good jollof while I'm out there.
Somalian women out there.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Senegalese money for sure.
Oh, and they thick. And they thick, like you were talking about before the show started.
Thick is all outdoors.
But no,
certain people ain't naturally thick, depending on their zip code.
Free now from corporate America, officially on this past Wednesday.
I'm glad you got your emancipation papers, brother.
And what I want to say to anybody who has been considering an exit strategy or whatever, truly lean into that shit because it feels like literally since Wednesday, it feels like motherfuckers not only treat me different, look at me different, but motherfuckers are hitting me up like, hey, so you now have time to do this, or I want to know more about what you're doing next, and so on and so forth.
Respect.
And me getting them the rundown, it's like, oh, how can I be a part of this? What do I need to do? Or who can I send your way?
You starting some energy. It's a vibe.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I see what it is.
It's a wave, and motherfuckers want to get they Max B on, be the Silver Surfer. They want to ride that wave.
Yeah, and I'm like, ain't this about a bitch? But I love it.
No, that's what it is.
But I love it because I had to let something go and really step into what I already knew so much about myself. I knew I didn't want to work for nobody.
What am I doing?
What you got planned for this week, Neo?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got shit planned. I got a couple sessions, but you know what the fuck I'm gonna do? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my ass to Jackson Park, and I'm gonna go sit and look at some of these pretty ass flowers grow, and let some sun motherfucking hit my skin, and enjoy life. I feel like for the last 9 months, I haven't really enjoyed life. I've lived it, but I haven't enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I want to do something small. Go get some fucking ice cream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Something small.
Well, for me, I am ordering this birthday unit. I need to order.
I don't know what that means.
Some hair.
Oh,
hair.
Oh, I was like,
I get it. Unit like, kind of too ambiguous, Morgan.
Whoa.
You could have said so many other words.
Whoa. I was like, I am
birthday unit.
I'm not that open-minded. No. I have my boundaries. You're gonna respect my boundaries. Honor that shit.
Ordering my birthday unit.
Okay,
cool. And tightening up some things.
Are you getting that laser light lipo?
You already know I'm getting the laser lipo. But then I'm going to combine it. I'm going to tell the girls my trick. The day I get the laser lipo, I'm also going to do spin class. So that way I'm getting the exercise, same day I got the laser lipo.
Okay.
Also, don't drink sparkling water while you do that because, see, that makes you bloated. So you got to only drink
can see the carbonation.
water.
I can see the carbonation. So you getting laser lipo and do you add like what's the name of that shit? You do alkaline with the laser lipo? Alkaline water?
I mean, no, I drink alkaline and I drink sparkling. I mean, I drink alkaline and regular water.
Alkaline.
Alkaline.
You know what y'all like?
Like, rate, subscribe. Like,
I can't even speak English no more.
Like, rate, subscribe.
Start looking like a Latina. Start talking like one.
I'm finna, now I'm finna go get some, like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable going in Heru with my shorts this short, so.
This bitch got nappy ass legs talking about it.
Goodbye.